break them down, and then we'll. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Man, it has been an eventful few days. Lots going on. Um, the weather has sucked, but other than that, all good things, all good things. Um, I had a show scheduled yesterday, and right about the time that I was scheduled to go live, something popped up that was a little bit more important, so I thought that I would get that done and then have enough time to come back over here and start the live, but that was not the case. However, um, I did help get that situation taken care of with you suck, cousin. Anyways, so we got lots to talk about today. Um, First of all, we have the interview with Kaden. Then we have the full 911 call, both Tyler's, um, and then your girl done got caught in a rabbit hole last night. So as you can tell, I'm a little exhausted. Um, yes, these kids ain't shit. Um, so yeah, there's that. I'm really tired. I'm tired of your excuses. Well, that sucks. You better get untired because allegedly, in my opinion, I'm too tired for that shit too. All right, so let's just get right into it. So I want to start with the interview with Kaden because there's a couple of things in there that I knew but hasn't been stated publicly that he decided to put out there, and there was a couple of things in there that are completely new. So I want to go over all of that, factor that into the timeline, and then we're going to break down this full 911 call, and then I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on why the news station that released it the first time chopped and screwed it all to hell. Like, I mean, weird. Weird, weird, weird. This case just gets weirder and weirder. The deeper you go, the more bizarre it gets, and it's uh it's weird. So let's just get right to the weirdness.
Okay, so on today's one thing that we know, we've been talking to him for a couple weeks, that his story hasn't changed. So we're really excited to have him. But before we get to him, Cindy, we have the 911 call.
We have the 911 call. We've been trying to get this 911 call, and then Fox News released it over the weekend. We hope you all had a good 4th of July. But after listening to this 911 call, there's a couple of things that really sent up some red flags for us. First of all, we've done a ton of 911 calls in all of the TV shows that we've ever worked on. And there's always a timestamp. It always says the time. And these don't have the time.
This is the best AI tool you can use to create and sell t-shirts that can earn you thousands of dollars a month.
There's 2 calls here that were credited from Jefferson County.
Now, we're not sure if Fox edited them out.
We don't know.
I don't know. Or if they weren't put in there, who knows, that when they gave them to Fox, so we don't know. But Cindy's right. There's always a timestamp. So we don't know.
The other thing that's a little weird, and we're going to play it in a second. The other thing that's a little weird is that they say that they've had 3 calls, but they've only released 2. So where's the 3rd? I mean, It's public information, just so you know. 911 calls are public information, even in open investigations. They obviously gave it to Fox News. They can give it to other people as well. So there shouldn't be any reason to not have released all 3. We don't understand the rationale behind that.
All right, so we're going to play it now. We're going to let you guys listen to it if you haven't heard it just yet, but tell us what you think, okay? And then we're going to dive right into the Kaden Pressy episode. And before, to tell you, though, it's a 2-part episode because we spent over 2 hours on the phone with him. So you're going to hear part 1 today and then part 2 next week, okay? So here's the 911 call.
Okay, so I'm guessing Jeremy's probably one of the other responding officers, but we haven't heard that name until just now.
Exactly.
We knew Zach was there.
And they say that they had 2 other calls. So this must have been the 3rd call.
So what happened to the second call?
Exactly.
And also the first call feels wrong. I don't know. There's something off with that first call. The second call, you could tell the guy was very upset. Like, imagine you're driving down the road and you see someone. I mean, you're going to be emotionally, you're going to feel like, oh my goodness, what is this? Is this a person? The first call it felt a little scripted to me.
And what I thought was,
I didn't buy it.
What was key is he said he saw the clothing was in the middle of the road and that the body, Noah, was naked.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into that a little later with Kaden because he actually saw the body.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. So we're going to get some more follow up on this, find out what happened to that third call that they didn't release. Maybe it was nothing, who knows? But I find it interesting that they, number one, no timestamps.
No, that's not normal though. I mean, but to be fair, I mean, maybe Fox cut them out.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't heard the raw of it,
exactly.
So we don't know.
And number two,
I was so tired of putting weight loss at the top of my resolutions list.
That he was naked, and that
right. So let's just. I mean, you got to hear Kaden's story from his own words. So
all right. So we're going to go to Kaden's story right now. But
we are going to have a podcast. Rob and I are going to go over a lot of the facts that are flying around the internet and tell you what we know is true for fact and what is rumor or speculation or whatever. So we are going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks also.
Yeah, because we're vetting this out. I mean, we have questions. We call law enforcement and they respond what they can tell us. And that's related to a lot of the misinformation that's flying around. So, all right. So right now, please watch Kaden Pressy.
All right. So today we have a very special guest on the podcast. We have Kaden Pressy. Kaden, great to see your face. We've been hearing a lot about you. I mean, we've had some conversations on the phone last week, but we're really excited to have you on and hear what you have to say. For our listeners who are just popping in on this, Kaden was at the party. Kaden is friends with Noah. He's friends with Jack. He's friends with everybody that was at the party. He was there. And so it's nice to see you and hear it from the horse's mouth finally. So, Kaden, let's start off. Let's
hold on one second before we even start. But it is great to meet you, Kaden. I'm sorry that it's under such horrible circumstances. And we're very sorry about Noah and that you've lost your friend through all of this. And you've been so brave and so strong. And we just want to just tell you how proud of you we are because we think it's really hard what you're doing. And it's good that you're doing it. Noah's watching from above, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, we've dealt with a lot of these cases before, and we understand the pressure under, but it looks like you're handling it just super well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Kaden, and tell us how you knew Noah, how you knew all the people at the party, and we want to know a little bit about you.
All right. Well, my name's Kaden Pressy, as y'all might know, but how I met everyone from the party and everything like that is we live in a small town in Duncan, so all the towns close to us will come to the Duncan parking lot, and we would all just hang out, you know. That's where all the kids would meet every weekend, every Friday. Like there'd be a good 100 kids there, and just all hang out. Mainly those kids would drink, but not a very good idea to do in public. But
you kids, we've all done it.
Yeah. How I've met Jack and Noah. I met Jack and Noah at the same time briefly. It was around, I'd say, freshman, sophomore year, right when I was getting my license. And they were at the parking lot one night, and I remember something of the sorts. I was making off some jokes, and they thought it was funny, and ever since then we started hanging out. And I was better friends with Jack than I was Noah. Me and Noah never really did hang out one-on-one. So every time I was hanging out with Jack, 90% of the time Noah's there hanging out with us too.
Okay. Well, what was Noah like from that? Even though you were closer to Jack, and also tell us what Jack's like as well.
Well, we'll start with Noah first. Noah, he was a good kid. He was a really funny guy. Everyone, all the friends used to say if Noah wasn't born in Oklahoma, he'd be born in California being a surfer because he always just has shorts on. He's always shirtless, has no shoes on, just walking around barefooted, 24/7. And I never really did ever see him like dressed like nicely unless we're going to eat or something. But even then, most of the time he would still just be in flip flops and a little one of those shirts that come off like this, a tank top and some shorts, dressing like a surfer all the time.
Sounded like he was a free spirit.
He was a free spirit. He really didn't care what anybody thought when it comes to how he dressed and everything. He wasn't scared to share his opinion either or anything like that.
He seemed like he was pretty outspoken from what everyone has said. Just kind of telling the truth, being honest, just say whatever he felt like.
He was a good, funny kid.
All right, so tell us about Jack.
Jack, man, me and him had a lot of experiences, and not any of them were bad, to be honest. Me and Jack, from the time I've known him, he's always been a good kid. I mean, everyone can be a butthole every now and then, but we all have our good sides. And Jack, I feel like he's at the time he was a good person and everything. And
since March 2024, Kenya has faced deadly floods, claiming nearly 100.
He may still be a good person. I mean, I don't look down on him at all. I hope that he didn't have anything to do with it, honestly, because that just breaks my heart because that's not the Jack that I know.
Yeah.
And Jack's always a funny guy. He was always fun to hang out with because we'd always go shooting, hog hunting and crap like that, drive around, just all around having a good time.
Okay. All right. Well, let's kind of jump to that weekend and tell us.
I just want to pause for a second and bless his heart. Like, this poor kid, like, he goes from being invited to a party and doing what young teenagers do and hanging out with his friends and probably doing some things they shouldn't have been doing, and then one of them loses their life, and then because he's the only one that speaks up and tells the truth, they all turn on him. And now he lives in a small town. He's got no friends to hang out with, nobody to talk to. Everybody's looking at him like he's the one that's done something wrong. Like, you're not supposed to be punished for doing the right thing. Like, you're not supposed to be ostracized for telling the truth. That's just not the way things are supposed to happen. You're not supposed to reward bad behavior. And it's just really, really sad and breaks my heart when that's the case and that's what's happened here.
What you experienced that weekend, as far as kind of take us through when you first arrived at the party. It was an all weekend party, started on Friday, Saturday, and then in Sunday, obviously. So if you can kind of take us through your experience about when you first arrived at the party. Was it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? And kind of take us through what you experienced.
If we could, I'd like to only talk about Saturday and Sunday.
That's fine.
And fine. Mainly my posts I've made on Facebook and stuff like that.
Sure, whatever you feel comfortable talking about.
Well, shoot, I'll basically just recite the night of and the night before.
All right, so let me set it up there. So, Kaden, why don't you take us through Saturday when you got there, and then take us through, and then kind of go from there to the end of the weekend where, the horrible thing happened.
Well, alrighty. Well, I arrived there Saturday. It would have been Saturday night. I called Jack, asking him what he was doing, and he said he was throwing a party, or they were having a party, and he invited me, and so I came out, and we all started drinking and everything. Saturday was normal. There was I'd say about 30, 40 people there. There was a bunch of people there that night, and everything goes normal. We all go to sleep. Next morning next morning we wake up and it's just us there. It's, I don't know if I can say names or not, but
If you're somebody that likes to take avid notes like me, this would be a good point to get your notebook out because he's about to mention the names of everybody that was there Sunday morning. And um, this is where the convolution comes from about Noah going to getting a ride to the truck stop and getting dropped off at the truck stop and getting a ride back. I don't know how the hell that's gotten so butchered, but he's about to say what really happened, and I feel like it's really important if you take notes to write it down.
it was me, Noah, Jack, Logan, Avery, Carter, Brylan, and Isaac. We all went out and ate at the Waurika gas station. It's also like a trucker stop. They have food in there and everything, and we ate inside of there. And after that, we just went back home, and Jack left me at the house with.
The ancient Egyptians understood that they could use sound to reduce their weight.
Well, yeah, in a perfect world, Teresa, that sounds great, but some people can't just pack up and leave. Like they have jobs, they own their homes. They can't just go afford to go stay somewhere else, and they don't have necessarily a family that they could just go and and move in with because things are not going well, they gotta, bite down, so to say, and just bear down and suck it up. They can't just. I'm sure they would love to because it's probably not um, very safe. They don't feel safe probably at the moment, but that doesn't mean that they have the convenience or the luxury to just pack up and go. And ultimately, what it boils down to, and I'm just speaking from my own opinion, and not anything that has been said, but that would make them look like they're running in there, and who wants to do that? If you know you're telling the truth and you have the truth and and God on your side, what they should be the ones running, and it shouldn't be happening the way that it is. But I promise you that this stuff that is going on in this small town didn't just start with Noah, and it doesn't end with Noah. And I promise you, Noah is going to bring it all to a head. There's so many different agencies and so many different eyes looking at everything going on here. It's coming to a head. Mark my words when I tell you it's coming to a head.
With the girls and Jack and Noah and Brylan and Isaac all went back to town. I don't know what they did, but they were doing something with their dad or something. And well, Jack's dad, I'm pretty sure. And me and the girls were just watching TV, cleaning up from last night and stuff like that. And around, I'd say around 9 o'clock, the party starts up again, and people start showing up. A bunch of people get there. That night, well, before it got dark, they got back, and we had the idea to go drive around and on the little Polaris Ranger, the side by side, they
Again, for all the note takers, this is another important part.
keeps on talking about. And we grabbed some guns and went and shot at some birds.
Bia, I can tell you that they are not, as far as because once again, they are not investigating this case in any official manner. They have offered their resources, and for the most part, like in all the other cases that we cover over here, with like Alex's case, Riley's case, FBI did make their presence known, and they did offer their resources, and they were not necessarily turned away and said, no, I don't need your help, but pretty much said, okay, well, I'll call you if I need you type deal. So they are not investigating this case on any official manner. They will take your tips if you call it in, but that's about as far as the FBI's involvement goes. They have to be requested and they have to be allowed and they have to be asked to come in by the official investigating agency, which is Oklahoma Highway Patrol.
shot up some animals like raccoons and possums we seen on the side of the road. And we came back right whenever it was starting to turn dark. And right before we got back, there's a giant culvert right beside the road. And Jack had the bright idea to jump that. I know a lot of people were saying those was side by side and stuff like that, but I don't think I was awake and I also didn't witness it. So,
But at that time there was no accident.
yeah, no, there was no accident. Everything was fine. And we go back to the house and start drinking again. I mean, there was a lot of people there that night too. There's 30, 40. And oh yeah, my cousin came around 10:30, and I had to stop drinking to keep an eye on her because I know how boys are whenever they're drunk. They'll try to push yourself upon women, and I wasn't gonna let that happen to my cousin. And so I stopped drinking and sobered up really quick, and kept an eye on her for a while.
And this is Saturday night, correct? Still, we're still on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is Sunday.
This is Sunday. Okay, just want to keep track there.
My cousin shows up, and I stopped drinking. I took a picture of her on the porch, and a lot of people have seen. And I took a bunch of videos that you can see from the party. I took those, like me sitting in the corner with my pink knee brace on, videoing, and you can see Noah walk around in his black shorts and shirtless as usual. And if you can look at it, I was zooming on a girl. That's my cousin. I was showing my mom at the time that she was okay because she was worrying about her. And Georgia's mom didn't know that she was there, so and I fell asleep after that.
About what
And
time? About what time was it when you remember about falling asleep on that Sunday night?
it was around 2, like close to 2.
2 in the morning.
Yeah, 2 in the morning.
And
And
before you went to sleep, though, Noah was still awake, walking around.
oh yeah, Noah was still awake walking around.
And who else was there? Was Jack there too?
Jack, I mean, it was mainly just the people that.
Okay, so not that we didn't already know that Jack was lying, but now we have a specific timestamp of 2 a.m., which Jack says at one point he's made a statement and said he was asleep at 1 a.m., and then he says he was asleep at 2 a.m. Okay, so regardless, we know those are both lies because when Kaden fell asleep right before 2, Jack was still awake, and then he's going to tell us a little bit further here in a second that when he wakes back up, when his mother calls him closer to 3, to be more specific, it's 2:43 a.m., and Jack is playing beer pong in the dining room with Noah. So Jack is full of shit, in my opinion, allegedly.
Went to the breakfast the day before, plus Mikey. Mikey came there that day.
But was
And-
Jack awake at 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I woke up around 2:43, and my mom called me saying that she had picked up my cousin because they were worried about her, and they picked her up about a mile or so down the road because they noticed her location was moving, and told her to pull over. She was in the car with her friend, and they picked her up and called me, and I went right back to sleep after that.
When you woke up for that phone call, was there anybody in the room? Anybody in the house?
Oh yes, ma'am. They were playing beer pong in the kitchen.
Who?
Well, not the kitchen, the dining room or whatever. I'm pretty sure. I seen Noah, Jack.
Organ meats, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the face of the planet. And frankly, when you package them up in a simple
Jasmine, and a couple other people I don't remember, but whenever I originally fell asleep, there was so I'll like do the hand motions to like explain it. So when you walk into the house, the living room's on the right, and there's a couch right here, and then there's another couch, and then there's a recliner in the corner that you can see where I'm videoing from. And I sleep on the couch closest to the door. And whenever I went to bed, Brylan was on the couch beside me, and then Mikey was laying in the floor, and Isaac was in the chair, the recliner. But whenever Jack burst through the door in the morning, Brylan Sweat and Mikey, they swapped places. So I don't know if there's some activity going on before then, around that time, but so Mikey was on the couch at that time whenever Jack burst through the door, and Brylan was on the ground.
All right.
And
All right, let me back up a little bit. So at 2:41 when you first woke
2:43.
up. 2:43 when you first woke up after you fell asleep around 2 o'clock. So you probably.
Hayden knows nothing about the shower. He did not witness a shower, and the only thing he has heard was after the fact, and I believe it was Jasmine that told him. So the shower had to have happened between 2:43 and 5:15 because it was in that window of time that Kaden was not awake and didn't see anything or hear anything physically. But after the fact, he was told by Jasmine that she gave him a shower, or her and Carter gave him a shower, and that had to have happened between, like I said, 2:43 and 5:15 a.m. And apparently, this ATV accident had to have happened in between that time as well, allegedly, if it happened at all. what this is doing is this is crunching down, because before we had a gap from about midnight until 5, well, actually 5:53. So from about midnight to 6. Now what we're doing is we are crunching down that timeline to where we have a smaller and smaller window of time of something very bad happening to Noah. And I mean very bad because the extent of the injuries that he obtained during whatever happened, for them to happen in that small of a window of time, and there's no damage to said ATV, says that that is just not fucking possible. Something happened, and it happened quick, and it happened with a lot of them. There's no way one person, and excuse my language, I'm about to be very vulgar here, fucked him up that bad in that little window of time. I'm sorry. It's just, they were all drunk. It's just not possible unless there was a bunch of them and they were using more than their hands. And I will say that with confidence. Allegedly, in my opinion.
Probably just napping for like 45 minutes. You're out. When you woke up, you saw Noah and was it and a couple other people playing beer pong?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then did you go back to sleep after that?
Yeah, I went right back to sleep.
Wait, but when you woke up at 2:43, Jack was playing beer pong with Noah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Jasmine was there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
There's a couple others I don't really remember.
Was Avery there as well?
I know she was at the house. I don't know if she was in there.
Got it. But you didn't see her right then and there. Okay,
No,
so
sir.
then after you noticed that, you just kind of like drift back off to sleep?
Yeah, I was tired, you can say.
but when you woke up at 2:43, so Isaac was on the couch?
No, Isaac was in the recliner.
Okay. So 2:43, Isaac's in the recliner, Mikey's on the couch.
Mikey's on the ground and Brylan's on the couch.
Got it.
Okay. So let's do it again. 2:43, Mikey's on the... Tell me where everybody was at 2:43 when you woke up.
All right, so Isaac's in the recliner. I'm on the couch. Brylan's on the couch, and Mikey's on the ground.
Got it.
Okay.
All right, so then you see them playing beer pong. Then you just kind of go back and you drift off into dreamland again.
Right. But before we get to Jack bursting in the door, let's just say what happened at 2:43 was when you went back to sleep, who else was laying around you?
So there was Isaac in the recliner in the corner, and
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Lord Disick. Nearly every person that comes into my home comments about how amazing it is.
there was
Now, I know some of you are probably like, what the hell? Like, she just asked him that. But she's actually doing a really good job in interviewing him. And he's doing a really good job at answering. Because what she's doing is people that are under pressure, that are lying, they would have gotten super defensive by now. They would have gotten an attitude, or they would have stumbled up and they would have gotten irritated because they felt like they have already told you, why do you keep asking this again? Kaden does not do that. He answers politely, respectfully, and he answers the same way every time. And that is something everyone should take note of. This kid's not lying, and this kid is a good kid. He's very respectful, he's very well-mannered, and he is not drunk at this point because he stopped drinking on his own account or by his own choice at 10:30 the night before because his little cousin showed up there and he wanted to make sure that she got home okay, and he went to sleep. And by the time he woke back up at this point, they were still actively drinking and playing beer pong. Kaden had stopped drinking hours prior. That's very important to know because it speaks volumes about his character that he was willing to just stop drinking to make sure that his cousin was safe. And it also shows that he was physically not as impaired as they all were. So his memory and his judgment is ultimately going to be way more credible than all of theirs, in my opinion. And it is to me.
was another couch, and Brylan was on it, and there's two couches and there was a recliner. I was on one couch, Brylan was on the other couch, and Isaac was in the recliner, and Mikey was laying on the floor.
Okay. So all those guys were laying around, and you were laying around as well at 2:43. Meanwhile, Jack, Noah, Jasmine, and some other people were playing beer pong. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then after you went back to...
He's been seeing a therapist about this, so Roddy. So that probably has a lot to do with the, he's actively talking about it so that his emotions aren't so bottled up and he's not acting, like out of emotion. He's had a chance to get them out and talk about them and is able. When you do that, that ultimately makes you more in control of your emotions because they're not so pent up and like a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. So his mom has made sure that he's been getting um, trauma therapy. So that is a big part of why he's able to maintain his emotions. And there's several cuts in the video, and and he did get emotional, but I applaud Rob and Cindy for making those cuts to where they don't exploit that, but everybody's human, and ultimately these are his friends, or were his friends at one point, that he's talking about. And it's not easy for him because he doesn't want to believe that he knows anybody that's capable of doing this to his other friend, so keep that in mind when you hear after this interview that we listened to. We're going to go over to the things that are being said and deleted, the attacks that he's received since this interview by the other side of the fence over there, and keep all of that in mind whenever we get to that part, because it's absolutely disgusting, and it just speaks volumes about you know character. It's not right. And I pray for Caden and his family, but I really hope that the right people are paying attention. And when I say people, I mean the right agencies, because the math it's not adding up. Caden, they're trying to say that because Caden's story is the only one that's different, that he's not telling the truth. But is that really the case? Because everything lines up. He has proof to back up everything he said. He doesn't just expect people to come on here and take him for his word. There's receipts, there's timestamps, there's phone records that can back up what he's saying. And all these other people that are trying to tarnish his character and discredit his account, they don't have anything other than their mouth. And that's just who I am all about: facts, receipts, and data. And the only one that has provided that has been Caden and his mother. And it is what it is. And the only one whose story doesn't change is Caden. And the only one who doesn't get defensive when you ask him questions, and the same questions over and over again that he's been answering for the last year, is Caden. He's yes ma'am, no ma'am, every single time I've ever engaged with him. He's yes, no matter what. I've told him 50,000 times, you don't have to call me ma'am. He still does every single time. That in itself speaks volumes, because kids that age are not raised like that in this era. I'm just gonna be real blunt right here, and sorry if I offend you, but if I do, then it probably because the shoe fits somewhere along the line. They're fucking punks. They're brats. They're disrespectful, and they have no regard for anything other than what they got going on right then and right now. And I know I got brothers that age, and I said what I said. It is a generation of brats. So it is a breath of fresh air when you have a kid like Caden that says yes ma'am, no ma'am, does what he's told, and doesn't talk back or cuss. And he is a breath of fresh air.
Sleep, what was the next thing that happened?
Jack comes bursting through the door at 5:15, and the time that I know it was 5:15 was because I felt like I just went back to I just fell asleep. So I checked my phone, and it was 5:15, and he yells, "Noah is dead! Noah is dead, guys!" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean Noah's dead?" And he said he's dead, and then he just took off to his truck and left. And I start waking up all the guys and tell them that we got to go because Jack says Noah's dead. And we all wake up and get dressed. And as I'm trying to find my shoes, I noticed that one of my Hey Dudes were missing, and come to find out later, Noah had it on.
Okay. So when Jack burst in the room, when Jack burst through the door at 5:15.
Well, actually, Carter's birthday is a few weeks after this. I believe September 20 something. It's a few weeks after, probably like 2.5 weeks after this. And her and Jasmine were posting a bunch of pictures for her on her birthday, and Carter had a, like, black eye that was healing. So I believe, and I stand by that. This is just my opinion, allegedly, and my theory. I think Jack and Noah were fighting. I think Noah was beating Jack's ass, and I think that Carter panicked because she was trying to get Noah off of Jack. And I think she could have gotten elbowed or hit, because when boys are drunk and they're tussling, they're not thinking, oh, this is a girl. I think she probably acted like a drama queen. And I think all the rest of them boys, and when I say all, I mean Mikey, Brylan, and maybe Isaac. I'm not sure, because Isaac was still sleeping whenever Noah woke up, but I don't, that's still up for debate for me. But Isaac and Brylan, no less. And I think they jumped on him. And I think they beat him until, I don't have to say the rest. That's just my opinion, though. That's what I think happened. And I do think it involved golf clubs. And then I think they panicked and they put him on the side of the highway and they started calling parents. And I think the parents were involved just as early on as the kids were. And that is my opinion. I'm entitled to it, and prove me fucking wrong. Allegedly, in my opinion.
Where was everybody still sleeping in the same positions as when you went to sleep?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not at all. Brylan and Mikey had swapped. So Mikey was on the couch and Brylan was on the floor. So they swapped places.
We don't know that Jack didn't have any injuries. Nobody, I didn't see him. And there's no, he didn't go on that video and do that News Nation thing until what, almost a year later, and he had sunglasses on then. I mean, he could have been rocking a black eye too, or had a busted lip or whatever. Because remember, supposedly there was somebody that was on the ATV allegedly with Noah, according to Stevie, that only had a busted lip. Okay, well, I wonder if that whoever had that busted lip, it was from actually a fight, because I don't believe that ATV accident happened at all. And if it did, I don't think it was I doubt it was Noah driving, because listen, I'm going to tell you, boys, even if men, they are not ones that are going to let their friends or other men drive their toys, even if they're drunk. And Jack was the type of, just in my opinion, from the stories I've heard, he was the type of kid that, because he had all those nice things, that is what got him. That's how he pulled his weight around. He wasn't going to let some drunk kid that was already punking him by flirting with his girlfriend, or his girlfriend paying more attention to him. You think Jack's going to sit and ride bitch and let Noah drive that ATV? I don't believe it for a second. And Kaden already told us earlier in this interview that when they were on the way back on Sunday evening before it got dark, Jack jumped the culvert. Okay? And so Jack drove it like a bat out of hell. So if there was a wreck, I don't think Noah was driving for a half of a second. I think it was fucking Jack, because that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, and that's why we're here. Allegedly, in my opinion.
In between the time that my mother called me and Jack burst into the door.
Got it.
So that was about a little over 2.5 hours.
Yeah, where you fell back to sleep. And I'm sure it felt like you just blinked your eyes and you woke up, because that's usually how. So you probably didn't realize how long it'd been. What was your first reaction when Jack burst through the door? I mean, it had to have been pretty shocking. I mean, it woke you guys up.
It woke me up instantly. Whenever he burst through the door, like, it bounced off of the wall, so it made a loud sound, and that instantly woke me up before he even got to say a word.
Did you even register what he was saying? I mean, I don't think I would have. If I had been partying all night and I was asleep, I would have been like, what do you mean he's dead?
I was confused at the time, because he kept on repeating it. I was like, what? And it finally clicked in my head that he's saying Noah's dead. And that's whenever I start waking up everyone, and he leaves again to go back to where Noah was.
Okay.
And then what happened?
Okay, you noticed that nobody had to go tell the girls that Noah was dead? Carter put the statement out, or on this comment on Kaden's original post on Facebook that she immediately deleted, that said, that went into this dramatic story that Jack came bursting in and he ran into the bedroom and he put his head in her lap and cried for a few minutes and said, "Oh, I can't leave Noah there by himself," and then ran back and left. Well, according to this, Jack came in the door, busted in the door, woke Kaden up, and then went right back out the door. Kaden had to wake up Brylan, Isaac, and Mikey, and then they went out the door and left. But did you notice nobody had to tell the girls? That's fucking important. That's very fucking important. Excuse my language, but y'all already know how I am whenever I'm fired up. This is, nobody had to call, or nobody had to run back there in the back room or wherever the girls were at and tell the girls that Noah was dead. Now he's about to go further into the story, and when they get back from the house after they go to the scene, the first thing that he says is that the girls are in the living room crying, asking for confirmation. Is Noah really dead? Is Noah really dead? Nobody had to break the news to the girls. What does that tell you? I digress.
So we all get dressed and we go load up in my red Jeep and drive down the road, and we can see the semis, the semi truck and the service truck, and Jack just pulling up as we're getting over the little railroad that they have right there, and before you get to the highway, and we go down there, and um, we got there around 5:20, 5:25. It wasn't much after I woke up.
All the note takers, get your pen out and your handy dandy notebook. This is important because this is where the fuckery starts. And when I say the fuckery, this is where the cover up starts, because this is where there's where all the different stories told cannot all exist. They are contradictory to one another, and they just simply cannot both be true. I choose to believe Kaden. I encourage you to do your own research and form your own opinion. However, the rest of them aren't here to pick their statements apart. So let that sink in too. But the statements they have made and all tried to seemingly delete off of the internet, those are what we have to speculate on, and they all contradict themselves. That has to say something, and it has to say, I'm not going to form your opinion for you. It speaks volumes for me. That's all I'm going to say. Do your own research, form your own opinion. Allegedly. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Blah, blah, fucking blah.
We go down there, and we got there around 5:20, 5:25. It wasn't much after I woke up. And
So you're earning six figures, but are you paying much more in taxes than you actually need to? I used to be allergic.
so we pull up, and I'll kind of like explain it to you how the semi and everything, like the vehicles were placed and everything. So we pull up on the, I think it's the northbound lane, which is going towards Duncan. I'm not sure, but there's the service truck, and then there's Jack.
Well, see, I have a theory that goes a little deeper than that, because it wouldn't make sense that Jack would just have this spew of clothes, at the house at Avery and Carter's house. And he doesn't, from all the pictures that I see, Jack didn't wear shorts like that. Like, I have not seen a picture that he's not in jeans. And even whenever they're in the wrestling pictures, like together, the boys are all wearing the white wrestling shorts, and Jack is wearing wrestling sweatpants. So I'm assuming he must have like super white legs or chicken legs or something, because he's not really like a shorts guy. I mean, I'm sure he does if they go to the beach or if they're at the lake, but I'm just saying, like, he wasn't carrying shorts around in his truck type deal. I think he called his dad, and his dad, that's what that text was fucking code for. And I think that he brought a new hat. I think he brought a new pair of shorts. And I think that's who picked up all of Noah's shit that went missing. And I think that that's where the golf clubs went. I think that's where a lot of the shit went because Caleb was involved way before 6 o'clock. And I said what I said. So was Renee Millen and so was Stevie fucking Howard. I said what I said.
Jack's truck and then my truck. Jack's truck is like perfectly lined up with Noah's body. And then there's the semi truck behind Noah's body facing back towards the party house. And we're all facing.
Keep in mind that 341 screenshot or Snapchat, I'm sorry. Okay, also, we have to keep in mind at 314, it goes radio silent. All the Snapchats, everything stops. Everything gets deleted. Okay? Jasmine posts that after everything is deleted. Jasmine posts that post at 341. I think in her drunk, stupid brain, or whoever she was taking direction from at that point, told her that that would probably be a good thing to do because it would document that they didn't know where Noah was at. I don't think it was a smart idea. I don't think it was a thought out idea at all. However, I think that was done on purpose to make a timestamp of, okay, at this time when something else was going on, I was here at the house. You can see the door behind me and you can see the time, and I don't know where Noah is. That is what I think. That's what I choose to believe. She's wet. I think she had already cleaned herself up, and I think she went. I don't think anybody was asleep except Kaden and maybe Isaac. I think they came in. The boys last minute came in and pretended to be asleep or fell asleep last minute just to play a part. And Jack came in on the dramatic, oh my god, because they were trying to create a fucking backstory. They were doing what they were told because by then the parents were already involved and telling them what to do and directing them on what to say, in my opinion. Let's keep going.
Facing back towards Duncan. And we get out of the vehicle and kind of just register that Noah's laying there motionless and that so we all get out of the vehicle and Jack gets out of his vehicle right when we pull up, and the service truck driver comes and starts talking to him right beside his driver door. I don't really think about it at the time because
He doesn't mention any of them being wet, but he did tell me that whenever he went back to the house and after going to the scene, that whenever they were cleaning up beer cans and stuff, that the like the patio, the porch area, looked wet, like it had been hosed off. But we're going to go on later on to say that this narrative that's being pushed by the other side, according to them, there wasn't even a water hose at the party house. So Kaden is just full of shit. I call bullshit. Bullshit. If there was any showering or hosing off being done, it was right there on that patio. I don't think they brought him into the bathtub. I think that would have been a waste of time, and I think it would have put more evidence in the house. And ultimately, I think that anything that was done being hosed off was done right there on that patio. I think the side by side was hosed off. I think Noah was hosed off, and I think they hosed themselves off. And apparently the patio, they said, because that's probably where the fucking fight broke out. Because there's rumors that are going around that I'll just say it, that Brylan has a video that he took on Snapchat that has since been deleted of Jack and Noah fighting on the gravel behind the vehicles, and this was around the time that supposedly side by side accident is happening. I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't know the timestamp. I can't confirm or deny that it exists, but I have been told that was in the cloud somewhere that it existed at one point. So take that with a grain of salt.
I can see my friend dead on the side of the road, and Isaac starts crying pretty badly. I mean, it messed with him a lot, I could tell. And I give him a hug and tell him it's going to be okay. And I walk up towards Noah, probably got.
Yes, it did, Teresa. And also something else that I didn't know at the time, but do you guys remember I came back and I asked Ruben on a later live stream, I was like, does D7 mean something? Like, I thought it was like a football position or like something sports related. But someone reached out to me since then that watched that video and told me that D7 is a golf club. Like, it's a, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know the term, but it's like a D7 Wilson driver. Like, it's a golf club. Golf club. Are you fucking kidding me? And the truck has been sold. The side by side has been traded for a boat. That has to tell you guys something. Why would you do that? There was nothing wrong with that truck. He had a lot of money in that truck, and from what I hear from everybody else, that was his pride and joy. Why would you sell it for nickels on the dollar if not for any reason other than because it had some type of evidence that you did not want to be part of the investigation if and when there was ever one. You know what I mean? Succubus, Ruben, succubus.
Got 10 feet away and walk back to my vehicle and go to grab a shop towel that I had back there I was going to throw over him. And right when I got about halfway back to Noah, we got told to leave.
Okay. When you saw Noah, what did he look like? Did he have clothes on? How was he facing down? Was he laying on his back?
So whenever we arrived there,
everybody get your handy dandy notebooks. This is very, very important. I tried to write down the way that he described it as good as I could. However, I know there's certain verbiage that he uses that is very telling to me. So keep in mind, pay real close attention right here to how he describes seeing Noah's body, okay? It's very, very, very important. The truck that was sold was very, very dark colored green. Almost like in certain light and certain angles, like it almost looks black, but it's very, 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 very like dark green.
he had black shorts on and two mismatched pairs of Hey Dudes. And he was
two different pair of Hey Dudes. Okay, so that means we have two possibilities here of what could have happened. Because remember, the autopsy said he had on an Adidas shoe, like a slide, and a Hey Dude. So either they're full of shit, or somebody took the other Hey Dude off of Noah and replaced it with an Adidas. Because Kaden said right here, he had two different Hey Dude shoes on, and one of them was his missing shoe that he couldn't find. So one of them was a gray size 12 Hey Dude, and the other one was a different Hey Dude. Now, we've seen several people from the fucking videos in the house, from the house party, that were wearing Hey Dudes. Isaac was wearing Hey Dudes. Brylan was wearing Hey Dudes. Kaden was wearing Hey Dudes. Let that fucking sink in for a second, because the autopsy report says an Adidas and a Hey Dude. Where the fuck did the other Hey Dude go, and where did the black shorts go? That can only mean one thing. Let's not beat around the bush and sugarcoat shit. Somebody put a different shoe on him and took the shorts off of him and left the other ones in the middle of the road. They could have done that because they didn't have time. There was another vehicle, the ones that actually called 911, and that's why they think they were the first ones on scene, because they scattered ass out of there before they got there. That they threw him in the middle of the road because they didn't have time to put him back on him, because there was another vehicle coming that was gonna actually report what they saw. That would explain why there was nobody in Dodge, why he was naked, there was shorts in the middle of the road, and he had on a Adidas slide and a Hey Dude slide, because I know in my heart, I'm telling you, I can put my life on it. This boy is not lying. Kaden is telling the truth. How you choose to incorporate that into your timeline and what you believe, that's on you. But I'm telling you, he has way too much consistency to be lying. And he could just do like all these other kids and just not say nothing and let their parents go on and fight his battle for him and not say anything. But he's not. He's here giving an 2 hour long interview that can be picked apart like we're doing right here. That has to show something. It has to speak for something. And I choose to believe him.
Like laying on his side facing. So whenever we arrived there, he had black shorts on and two mismatched.
Okay, so Isaac is 15. He was the one standing in the background of the photo with the shotgun behind Noah and Brylan that were doing the slap game in that video. Isaac was 15 at the time of the party. Mikey, the one that has shown his muscles at the end, the country pimp, Mike Tyson, whatever, that one, he was 16 at the time of the party. And Brylan, the one that slaps Noah and runs, he was 17 at the time of the party. Okay? So Isaac and Kaden and Brylan were all three wearing Hey Dudes. Not the same color. I think one was dark, but they were all wearing the same brand of shoe. You can see them in the video and the photos from the party that weekend. I said what I said.
Pairs of Hey Dudes, and he was like laying on his side facing the ground. His hips were like facing on like.
This is important. I cannot stress this enough. This is important. Try to get a visual of what he's saying. And if I need to, and I have to, I can pause this and repeat it so that you can actually get a bit, like try to get a visual of what he's saying. I know he has a hard time describing it because it's very traumatizing for him to remember this, but it is very important to remember what position he's in when he's found by the police and what Kaden is describing right here. Because something happened in between. Noah didn't move himself. He was already unalived, okay? This is very important. I can't stress this enough.
He was like laying on his side facing the ground. His hips were like facing on like how you going to sleep, you're going to be laying on your side. He was laying on his side, but his chest was face down into the asphalt, and his head was like this. So he was like a little deformed.
The word he used when he described it to me was contorted, okay? So let that sink in for a second. Let that sink in for a second.
You're going to be laying on your side. He was laying on his side, but his chest was face down into the asphalt, and his head was like this. So he was like a little deformed.
He was twisted.
He was twisted, yeah. And his arms were sprawled out, and his legs were sprawled out.
How do you fight?
So he wasn't in the fetal position at that point.
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. You said something earlier. His shorts were on him when you saw him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they were black shorts, correct? The same ones he was wearing before.
Yes, sir. The same shorts you can see in the videos I've taken.
And what time do you think that was about?
Whenever we got to the scene?
Yeah.
about 5:20, 5:25.
What, and was law enforcement there yet or no?
Oh, ma'am. It was just the service truck driver, the semi truck, and me, Jack, and Isaac, Mikey, and Brylan.
And the drivers of the trucks, did you see them or talk to them?
No, I didn't talk to them once, and I also didn't see the semi truck driver once. I didn't see him at all while I was down there.
Okay. All right. So you went to go approach him. You wanted to kind of show him some respect by covering him up because you didn't want him to be there just laying, on the roadside. Mm-hmm. Then someone who you.
Okay, now you guys remember, I've said this several times. I have, in my opinion, that I believed that Kaden was fearful in some way of backlash or repercussions of why he said that he did not remember who told him to leave. Well, he has since obtained an attorney and has been advised by an attorney, and now is probably, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for him because he has not said this to me, that element of fear has subsided some, and he's telling the truth now. He's about to tell you who told him to leave, what he said, and why he left. And I knew it. I fucking knew it.
You can't remember because I'm sure you're in shock at that point as well. All of you guys are. It's horrible. And then they told you to leave. And so take us from when you left.
Who told you to leave?
He doesn't know.
Oh, you don't remember?
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't remember.
So from the time that whenever I came home that day, I told my mother all of what happened and everything. I played it all through like I'm telling you now. And it's been so long. I've forgotten some details and she has remembered them. And
real quick, I'm going to read a message that I got from Kaden's mom, just to kind of put in perspective, and so that nobody can try to say, oh, okay, well, he didn't say this last time, and he didn't he remembered this differently, and okay, there is a very human explanation for what he's about to say, and I just want to go ahead and preface it with what Alicia said, okay? I'm not going to read it word for word because there's certain things that I'm going to leave out for obvious reasons. But for the most part, what it says is she had a conversation with somebody back in November, and if I wanted the screenshots of the conversation to confirm it, she would send them to me. She says that the full conversation, I can send it to you if needed, but when Kaden first told her what happened, he did not input little details. Those only came out over time with him hearing conflicting stories because Kaden, first of all, was in his own mind, even if he wasn't doing it consciously, which he probably was doing it consciously, he was trying to protect his friends. He didn't think anything nefarious happened by them. And when she says this, I believe that wholeheartedly because Kaden was that type of kid. You can see it in his face now that he doesn't want to throw them under the bus, but at the end of the day, he was taught to not lie and not tell the truth, and you have to speak up when something is being wrong, even if they're all your friends, as much as that sucks. And bless his heart for even having to be put in that position, but he's done an amazing job at keeping his personal feelings and personal connections to people involved out of it and just doing right by Noah. And that is, let me keep going. So she says that came out later over time with him hearing conflicting stories. The last I knew from our text conversation talking about her and Kaden, he was out on the patio, or what she thought was a porch, with his cousin. The photo he sent was actually the patio. I did not know that at the time and assumed it was a porch. When it comes to the time discrepancy being between 3:15 and when I called him at 2:43, which my phone records prove, at that time I had not looked at my phone records. I mixed up the time as it was the only time I remembered from seeing on my sister-in-law's screen from her infotainment, her camera system. I made those mistakes in the time and place, not Kaden. Okay, so this was when the first statements were made. This was just going based off of memory, little details, and nobody had went and pulled phone records and tried to corroborate it because they didn't think it was necessary. Since then, since all the lies have been going around, Alicia's went and pulled Kaden's phone records, her phone records, and got timestamps to where now we have the more precise timeline. Okay, so they're gonna try, and when I say they, I'm talking about the ones on the other side that don't provide any receipts at all and just run in their mouth. They're gonna try to pick apart everything Kaden says based off of things that he said or his mom said previously before the records were pulled. Okay, and she's acknowledging that it was her that was off by the time and that it was not Kaden and it was before the phone records were pulled. I cannot stress that enough. So please, please just be easy and not so skeptical when the ones that are over there speculating ain't showed a receipt with a timestamp about it near like a nothing. So they can suck my from the back as far as I'm concerned. They don't get to speculate when they ain't showed shit. I digress.
So the service truck driver told me to leave, and he was pretty pissed off. In his words, he said, "Y'all need to get the f out of here," and so therefore we do, because I was taught to respect my elders, aka older people than me, and stuff like that. So I respected his wishes, and we left.
So
And
the service truck driver, was that Tyler Harding or someone else?
no, ma'am. Tyler Hardy was driving a pickup truck with a flatbed. A service truck has the tall white boxes on it, and it has like the little jib crane on it.
Do you know who that driver was?
No, ma'am. He was, if not the same height, a little bit taller than Jack. A beefier build, a chunky guy. Had a beard. And he had a high vis vest on.
Okay. So like a utility worker.
Yeah.
So what is up with these mysterious people on the scene that are not there when I mean, this is like Grant Solomon all over again. You got the high vis vest, you got the service truck, you got the 911 call, and then the people that made the 911 call don't see the said person. And what the only thing that these two cases have in common is corruption. Period. Point blank, the end. There are people in this community in Oklahoma that wear a badge of some sort, whether it be a firefighter, whether it be a police whether it be a trooper, that know what the fuck happened and chose to cover it up because they have a dog in the fight. And I'll just say that. And I said what I said. I don't give a damn who doesn't like it. Sucks to suck.
Okay, cool.
So the semi truck, I know a lot of people are saying that there was a crude hauler on the scene whenever there was police there, but that's not the same semi that I've seen. Whenever we got there, there was a white box truck semi, so like one of the ones that would haul food and stuff like that, not an oil hauler. And so whenever the service truck driver tells us that we need to leave, we do so. We load up in my vehicle, and we head back to the house.
And who's with you at that point?
At that point, it is me, Isaac, Mikey, and Bralin. Jack stayed at the scene with the service truck driver.
Did you talk to Jack when you were at the scene at all?
I don't think I said a word to him.
Was he crying? Was he emotional? It's his best friend.
He was just staring at Noah and talking to the service truck driver.
And we don't know the identity of this guy.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you go back to the house.
We go back to the house, and the girls are waiting in the living room, crying.
Waiting in the living room. No one had to fucking tell them anything. Why were they already crying? What were they waiting for? How did they know? Waiting in the living room. Not sleeping, had to be woke up. They were already crying. Asking for confirmation, is he really dead? Let that sink in for you. I digress. Shut the fuck up, Ruben. I need a fucking Twizzler. I'm having withdrawals. I'm angry because these scroungy fucks are lying, and it's blatant, clear as day, and the one that's telling the truth is the one that's being scrutinized, and that just pisses me off to high heavens.
And they ask, is Noah actually dead? And the girls are waiting in the living room.
So you go back to the house.
We go back to the house, and the girls are waiting in the living room, crying. And they ask, is Noah actually dead? And we confirm to them, yes, Noah is dead. And they all start bursting out crying and walking around like it was nothing good. And they all kind of like migrated to one specific room in the back of the house, and we all got back to where we were sleeping, and sat there for a couple minutes thinking about it, and they just went back to bed. The boys did.
Who did?
Brylan, Isaac, and Mikey.
They just went back to sleep after they just found out that their friend was dead?
Yep. And I didn't know what to do at the time because I didn't want to text my mother and tell her that, hey, someone died at the party, because then she'd start freaking out and
sure
everything. So I watched TV to get my mind off of it until I need to like talk to someone, like the police or whatever, until they show up and stuff like that. And I probably watched it for about 30 minutes, maybe close to an hour. And Logan, I'm pretty sure she came in the living room and sat down and talked to me about it, or some female did. And at that, around close to that time, Renee Millen shows up. And
can we just say who Renee Millen is?
Renee Millen is Jasmine Millen's mom. I'd say she got there around 6:30.
Write that down. Write that down.
And at that time, I had the idea, like, hey guys, we need to clean up the beer cans, because at the time we were all under the assumption that he got hit by a vehicle.
Ruben.
And I didn't want no one to get in trouble for having alcohol there, you know. So I say, let's clean up the beer. And
since March 2024, Kenya has faced deadly floods, claiming nearly 100.
We clean up. Renee's talking to Jasmine by her vehicle in the driveway, and so I also overheard Renee telling.
This is a fucking game changer right here. This is about to like change everything. Listen to what he's about to say.
Real quick, Teresa is asking, wouldn't Kaden be a star witness for an upcoming trial on this and that?
They're not anticipating an upcoming trial.
Right.
They're anticipating that they bully him into submission and that he's going to be the one they discredit because his is the only one story that's different, and there won't be a trial.
Right.
Or they're framing him.
So essentially, you know, there's
he's not being protected. No.
What's the answer to that?
He protected himself with an attorney, but as far as the authorities, no. None.
Right.
Keep in mind, he had to track them down and harass them pretty much to get an interview to begin with, and that took place on October 9th, and Noah lost his life on September 4th. The first interview. Second one didn't take place until a little over a month ago.
Right. And in all honesty, I don't think he could be a witness to it anyways, because he didn't witness the actual.
He didn't see, right. He didn't see anything.
So I
exactly.
don't, therefore, I don't think, I mean, he could play, be a witness to some parts and stuff, but, as to say that, did he see the actual murder take place? And that is what it was, then he can't, because then not essentially he'd be lying.
Keep in mind the personnel or the people that were in that video that has been talked about. Okay, that looks good on none of them. They all have reason to try to make that go away. And I said what I said.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Jack on that video taking the black shorts off of Noah. Jack wasn't anywhere in the video, so let that sink in too.
Oh, did he already explain that?
No, he doesn't on here, but I think that's because he did a 2-hour interview that they broke it down and they kind of cut it off abruptly so where they could get, whatever. They are entertainment, they do TV, so they cut it where they could get 2 weeks worth of content out of it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But what he's about to say is a bomb dropping that is going to change everything, and everything that we've talked about is now going to be directed towards what he just said. Is about to just say. He hasn't said it yet, but he's about to.
Telling Jasmine her vehicle in the driveway, and so I also overheard Renee telling Jasmine that she's been at the scene for about 30 minutes or so before she arrived to the house.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What?
So he's saying Renee,
fuck?
He heard Renee
and her husband
says that she was on the scene of of Noah's dead body for at least
30 minutes before she came there to the party house at about 6:30.
Right. Before coming to the house.
She claims that she didn't even get there till 7. Well, yeah, that's probably because she doesn't mention that she was on the scene.
Yeah, because
so
that half hour was right there fucking around, finding out.
Exactly, and that's why she came back to the house on a mission with a game plan that her and Caleb had already put together. Get the beer cans, the alcohol, the guns, the golf clubs, the fucking clothing, and get the fuck out of here.
Because this is where, and this, by him saying this makes sense to why she was asking for the guns. Not that, oh, I knew some kids had guns in their cars, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or they just fucking take them. You know what I mean? So if they're in the house, though, it's like, give me all the guns, get rid of all the beer, and get gone.
She came in with a game plan and started pointing and directing orders, and they all listened and followed suit. Was that before the 9? Was that obviously that was before 5:54, 5:46, and 5:54 or 5:53 when I'm a called?
Do you think, and it only makes sense that it say Jack did come back and tell everybody, oh, yeah, Noah's dead at this moment. You don't think that they called their fucking mom right away? And that bitch was
I don't think that was even necessary. I think that call was made to mom at 3:41 when the Noah's missing. That's what I think.
That's possibly true as well.
Because we're supposed to believe that between 5:15 and 5:53, parents were called and notified that all supposedly lived 45 minutes to an hour away, woke up out of a dead sleep, was able to get their bearings right, get dressed, load up, and get there and already and be on the scene with a game plan in fucking 47 minutes? No fucking way. It's not possible. Just like Noah left drunk walking, went 4 miles to the Red River and was on his way back walking and got unalived in the highway, not on the highway, in the highway at with in 27 minutes. These people do not have any fucking concept of time and how it all actually fucking works.
No, it's just that they're on what I call tweaker time. So if
Yeah,
they
that's
say 30
crazy.
minutes, it's either more like 3 hours or 3 days.
Fucking A, my lot. I don't miss that shit at all. Shout out to my dad. Be on his way for fucking 3 days.
Right? It's just, if they say, yeah, give me like 2 hours. You didn't hear
Yeah,
2
like
hours.
you mean like
Yeah.
actual, like, my 2 hours, like 60 minutes
Right.
times 2, or like I'll see you this time next year.
It's gonna be either 2 days or 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's possible because he could get arrested between here and then, and it might be this time next year. But he'll be back. He'll be back.
He'll be
Fucking
back on
A.
the second. I just said 2. There was a 2 in there somewhere.
Yeah. It was February. Fucking A.
Is she covering for Jasmine? I think she's covering for more than.
I think they're all covering for the. Listen, they all are best friends. Don't get this twisted. All of the parents, Renee, Stevie, what's his, blah, blah, Logan's parents, all of these kids' parents are best friends. Therefore, that's why all of these kids have grown up best friends. They all have a dog in the fight to make this look something else, like something else. None of them want their daughter's best regard. They all know, and they're all covering for one another. I don't know if they physically made the swings that costed Noah his life, but that's irrelevant because it's just as much of a fucking crime to cover it up, and they all did that.
Right. By not coming forth and speaking about if they knew what they knew before whatever, then then they're all culpable. And there was hoes at that house. They were the girls at the party. So there's that.
What did you just say? Okay, BM.
So, B is asking who's Logan. Logan is the girl that okay, there you go.
There you go.
What the fuck? What is this with these Botox lips and shit? Like, don't do the lip thing, girl. And maybe you look semi-decent. She gotta have some contacts too. Those look like the same kind of contacts that the other broad was wearing.
That is Logan.
Avery. I think it's Avery. The one he called a fat chick.
And yeah, and this is the one that Noah was supposedly asleep with on the floor, and that Avery said, "Oh, y'all better be glad y'all didn't do anything, or I would have killed y'all."
Yeah.
This is what Avery looks like now. She's the bleach blonde. Imagine that.
Goodness. And she just got some panties and shit. What's wrong with today's youth?
So many things. So many things. That's Avery. Now here's Carter.
I still think she looks young. Well, maybe not right there, but she be looking young.
That's Carter and Jack. Carter and Jack.
How old is she?
Carter and Stevie. She's the same age as Jack and Noah.
Oh. Does she got dreads? Oh, I thought she had dreads. I'm like, oh hell to no.
I think she just got nappy roots.
I'm just saying, what the food?
Carter and Jack.
Bia said she folded the shorts.
Supposedly, okay, we're gonna get into that. We got a little bit left to this interview. We're gonna get into that because now these scroungy fucks over here on this other side are saying law enforcement did that.
Right. You're right, catfish. That's what I meant. Duck lips. Not what did I say? Botox lips. I meant what
fish
you said,
lips or fish chips and duck lips. I'm sure they got some on their headboard. Fucking weirdos.
Right.
All right, we're going to listen to this because then we got the 911 call, and then we're going to get over to what these scroungy fucks have said and since deleted in their little sofa sleuths group that I've infiltrated. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Fucking ninja.
Snitch.
So that's pretty close to whenever we left. If you think about it. And
you're doing great, Kaden.
Yeah, I know it's hard.
It's really hard. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I've been having to do this for a while now.
No, I'm sure.
And overheard Renee talking to Jasmine, saying that they were at the scene for about 30 minutes before they showed up to the house. And we get all the beer cleaned up and everything. And shortly after that, Renee tells me that we need to give her all the guns. And I was saying like, oh, I can take them. I'm heading back that way anyways. And she was like, she was adamant of her taking them. And so they go and get the guns and give them to Renee. They load them up. And right after that, Renee tells me that we need to load all the beer in the house up into one of the coolers, and I need to take it home with me.
Okay. Let me stop. Go ahead.
They said that we should leave before the police get there because it's just going to cause a whole extra scene if there's more people there.
What she meant to say and what I'm sure she didn't say, but what she was thinking was you need to get the alcohol and the minors out of here. Keep that in mind,
Right.
because all three of those boys that he took home, 15, 16, and 17.
And let me just say this real quick. So Isaac, Noah was at this party only because of Isaac, because
He couldn't go to Rocklahoma.
Noah, right.
Correct.
So Noah's parents would not allow that to happen.
His aunt and uncle.
They thought, aunt and uncle, because they figured, well, we don't know the parents, and if he's going to be drinking or whatever, they don't want to be liable for that shit. So, I mean, again, I said this maybe once before, that you can tell the difference between the parenting of some kids and other kids and stuff, so there's that.
Exactly. And keep that in mind that there was a there was an element of that they could all go do this here at this house, and they could all go do this at Jack's house, and that's why they all migrated towards Jack, and because they could drink and do stuff that they couldn't do at Noah's house or at their own house because their parents would not be okay with it,
Right.
Noah was 0.14. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? He was drunk? I mean, they all were. That is true.
Nobody's disputing that.
Oh, I guess he's answering Bia, because Bia says, has it ever been said how drunk Noah was? Well, yeah, according to his blood alcohol, he was 0.14 at the time of his autopsy, which was completed at 1 p.m. the next day. So take that with a grain of salt, because there is things that happen when in the body that that cause things to be broken down that could make it higher or lower. So how accurate that is, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but that is what the toxicology report read.
Right, the natural ethanol that people release.
Right.
Gases
Right. The gases. Exactly.
And he was already in rigor mortis. Was that part of the autopsy, or did we read that on something else?
Well, that was they said that by the time he was gone to the medical examiner, but now because the medical examiner never came on scene, but according to what Caleb said, that's who ran everybody off the scene was the medical examiner. So I don't fucking know. Caleb says that the medical examiner got there, and that's when everybody was cleared out, and that's when they went back. Him and the trooper went back to the house and was examining the ATV because the medical examiner told OHP that the injuries weren't extensive enough to be a car strike, and that's when the scene was cleared, according to Caleb, in one of his statements that he made online.
So the trooper that was there didn't fucking keep the I shouldn't say idiots. The people
didn't clear the scene. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, and neither did any of the people that were there prior to that. The undersheriff and the sheriff of Jefferson County, the volunteer firefighters, none of them cleared the scene. It wasn't cleared until the medical examiner got there and ran everybody off.
Well, what about the 911 caller? He had said that he had parked so far behind.
Yeah, he blocked from cars from hitting him, but he didn't. When people started arriving,
right?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't.
What was he gonna do?
Right. Yeah.
But the people with authority should have done that, and they didn't. And they were still on scene at 7:18 when Noah's brother and his dad got there.
Right. Roddy, 0.8 is the limit, no matter you're driving or not.
Yes, it's the legal limit.
Yes.
Kaden or Jack? What do you mean, Kaden or Jack? What?
Do I think who would win in a fight? Kaden. He was like,
yeah. What do you mean?
A lot bigger than freaking skinny old little Jack. Plus, Jack got them glasses that tint on
that scream that them auto tint. Fuck no.
I didn't even know that was a thing till Fubber told me.
Auto tint glasses, check. Fuck boy. Your thoughts? Could Noah and Jack be in a fist fight? Someone come from behind with club, hit Noah in the back of head, left unconscious, then he was dragged.
Very possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually what I do believe happened.
Yeah. And it could be like something like they didn't intend to, kill
unalive him. They were just trying to get him off of Jack. Right. And I think the reason why that's plausible is because I think there was tensions progressively building with Noah and Jack that entire weekend that had been building from a previous incident that has been buzzed around by people that know both of them and that live in that area, have told me, that make me believe that Jack was trying to mend what was going on with him and Noah with alcohol, and it didn't work that way. I don't think it went as planned. I think they were trying to smooth over some shit that needed to be sat down and talked about like adults. But that's not what we were dealing with here. We were dealing with a bunch of drunk teenagers.
Well, yeah, and I think it was a stupid idea to basically almost beg Noah to go back to the party in the first place. Noah didn't want to go back. And there was a reason.
And I think that's because he didn't want to be around Jack.
Exactly. There was already two semi-quasi fights.
Right. And that was not over a 4-day weekend. That was from Saturday to Sunday.
Yeah, it was a day and a half or 2 days, whatever the fuck it was.
Right. And most of the day they weren't around each other on Sunday because Noah went back home and had to be begged back. So keep in mind those first two fights were just Saturday night.
And I think, Jack was...
No, it wasn't Kaden or Jack. It was Caleb that went to check on the ATV with the highway patrol. Neither one of them. Jack stayed on scene. Kaden was already gone home by then.
Yeah, Kaden. So when he leaves the party, leaves the house with the kids, with the other boys, and the
And the
beer or
alcohol.
whatever, the
Uh-huh.
alcohol. Yeah, essentially he is no longer a witness to whatever. Up
Right.
until I guess he looks and sees, whatever vehicles are down the fucking road at least.
Right. And he says that too, and he says the way he went.
Right. Oh, he does? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that could give us a better timeline of who you dropped off first and then how long it took.
Right. And Alicia even said that I talked to Alicia for a long time yesterday, and she said she has contacted her security agency, like whoever they have cameras through, and
Uh-huh.
are trying to get the still shots or whatever of Kaden coming home with a timestamp on them, so that can be
Oh, hell yeah.
put to rest too. Because
Right.
none of that was she didn't get any of that at the time because she didn't think it was necessary. But all that stuff it saves to a cloud. So as long as you're the one, you call the provider and secure, release it through security. It takes a little while, but they will release it eventually.
Right. And that's a good thing because you know what? That'll shut up a lot of these people that keep coming up
No,
with
it
this
won't.
bullshit ass fucking bullshit.
It'll make them look better. But it ain't gonna shut them up. It ain't
Right.
possible.
That's true. Well, it ain't possible because the police ain't fucking doing nothing.
Right. They'll just switch to their other family member's account and keep running their mouth. Because I know it. All that shit being said is Stevie.
I know fucking which ones is Stevie is not, and which ones
Yeah,
ain't.
you do the most reading her. Like you should.
Yeah.
You should at this point. You should
Like,
know her better than she knows herself.
I'm already in that bitch's head. Like, she wants to bang out the youngins, and she
Thank you.
ends a sentence and begins a sentence with "end." Who the fuck does that? Like, you learn in school not to do that shit. It's not very attractive.
Yes, Bia. Renee did. Renee told him to take the alcohol and get out of there because they didn't need to be there with alcohol and minors when the police got there. That was her exact words. Kaden said that. It was Renee Millen, Jasmine's mom, who told them to leave.
Right. And it's weird. Okay, so Kaden says, well, I'll just take them because, I could take them to wherever they got to go. You know what I mean? Like, she should have left it at that.
Does he know who they belong to? Right. And because
Exactly.
two of the guns belonged to the two kids in the car. One was Isaac, one was Brylan's, the other one was Jack's.
Right. So what was the purpose of her having to have them to take
because
them
where they belonged to her was to Caleb's house because that's where they ended up.
Right. And then Caleb says he distributed. Like, for what, dude? I'm pretty sure they're grown up enough. If they took them the fuck out there, they're well enough to take them home.
Right. But think about what that could mean, and I wonder if that was where the golf clubs left too.
Bingo.
Seems a little bizarre,
right?
Because they ended up not at Jack's house, at the Newton scrap pile at the business, the place of business, the plumbing company. Keep that in mind too.
And I don't think maybe they thought Kaden didn't know about the golf clubs.
No, not until after the fact. It all played out. He's going to explain that too, the way that it played out. But keep in mind how unweird it would be for it to be on a scrap pile in the backyard at the house where there's scrap. But when it's at a plumbing company, that's a very bizarre place to have broken, bent up, and one of them bent up, and the rest nothing seemingly wrong with them at the plumbing company scrap pile.
Right.
Okay. That is very telling, and he's about to explain all this. This last 10 or 15 minutes or so is full of nothing but, like, get your handy-dandy notebook out, everybody that takes notes, because you're going to need it, because I literally probably wrote down word for word everything he said these last few minutes.
Yes, Renee, the mother of Jasmine and, what's the other fucking sister's name? Or the sister
Stephanie.
wasn't there. Right?
Stephanie.
But Renee's the one. Renee's the one. She's asking what adult told Kaden to take the boys home. Renee did.
It was Renee. Yeah, that's correct. Jasmine's mom. And that was around 7.
Right.
So, but he's about to explain that and go into detail. I think, Victor, I'd actually been told through the grapevine that there has been buzz in the town that Mikey has been started to break and started to talk a little bit, and may or may not, allegedly, it's speculate, whatever, theoretically, has said that he hit Noah with a golf club one time, and it was because of peer pressure. So take that with a grain of salt. Are you doing self checkout again? Or are you dying again?
Renee tells me that we need to. So they go and get the guns and give them to Renee. They load them up, and right after that, Renee tells me that we need to load all the beer in the house up into one of the coolers, and I need to take it home with me.
Okay.
And
Let me stop. Go ahead.
They said that we should leave before the police get there because it's just going to cause a whole extra scene if there's more people there whenever they get there.
Okay. Let me stop you real quick. So the guns. Who did the guns belong to, and what kind of guns were they?
So I'm pretty familiar with the most of the guns. One of them was a 300 Blackout AR-15 style rifle. It had a suppressor on it, had a thermal and night vision scope on it. And a lot of people aren't familiar with calibers, but 300 Blackouts type of round. There was a hunting rifle, like you'd use to kill a deer with. And there was a 12-gauge shotgun.
Get 30 beef sticks for just $30. Try for $1 each. 6 grams of protein.
So the 12-gauge shotgun belonged to Isaac. The hunting rifle belonged to Brylan. And the AR-15 belonged to Jack.
And in Oklahoma, it is legal for all of these boys to have guns at their age, correct?
Yes, ma'am. You can. Jack was allowed to own that gun. I think he was 18 at the time. I'm not sure, but I don't think they owned it themselves, as in like they bought it and it's in their name and everything is registered to them. But I'm sure their parents bought it for them for like a Christmas present or anything, and like they're allowed to take it places and do stuff with it.
That's my point for people that don't know Oklahoma. We know that, but I just want people to understand that it's normal for them to have these kinds of guns and to have them in their possession. The gun that Isaac was holding in the video, is that any of those guns that she?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. That is the 12-gauge shotgun.
Okay.
Okay, so Renee told you guys to clean up everything. She confiscated all the guns. Told you.
I said that we should clean up the beer cans. Renee didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying. But she asked you to take the beer.
See, if he was out to lie and try to point blame at he wouldn't have just stopped that man and corrected him and said, no, Renee didn't say to clean up the beer cans. That was my idea. This kid's not fucking lying.
Right. And
he's not.
That's the same thing that he said before. You know what I mean? So
right.
Again, he's not letting people change the narrative. It's like, let me correct that. I said that because
exactly.
If you let somebody change the narrative, even if it's by mistake, it still changes.
They will. And then everybody will hear that, and that'll be the new thing ran with. And then he will have the blame for the lying just because he didn't correct it, because he sat there and let it be changed, even if it didn't come out of his mouth.
And we as people tend to do that a lot sometimes without realizing that we do that. But he's actually
corrected it, stopped him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because he wants the absolute truth to be told by, from his perspective. Like, look, no,
exactly.
I said that.
Exactly.
Here with all the guns. Told you.
I said that we should clean up the beer cans. Renee didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying. But she asked you to take the beer with you.
Yeah.
You guys leave. So she took the guns. She told you to take the beer and just you guys get out of there because the cops are coming and they don't want more of a mess.
Yes, sir. We left close to 7, if not at 7, and I had Isaac, Mikey, and Browlin with me, and whenever we go to leave, we have to go around the mile section because at the time the police and EMS and everyone else is there, and so we have to like go around in that mile section, and we pass by everyone and we head home, and I remember dropping Brylin and Isaac off at the same house. I do not remember if it was at Brylin's house or Isaac's house, but I dropped them off at the same house, and it's on the way to Duncan. And I dropped Isaac off. If people are familiar, Mikey off. If people are familiar with Duncan, they'll know what Cash and Dash is. I dropped them off at a house over there in ABC Land, and I head home, which is really close, and I don't think I got home until like 8, a little bit maybe after like 8:10, somewhere around there, and
How do you
because it was like a 45-minute drive home, and plus I had to drop those people off, and whenever I get home, I walk into the house holding my hey dude up in the air and explaining what happened to my mother and my dad because they're still in bed, and they're never usually in bed at that time. That's like sleeping in for them, waking up at 8. They were arguing about who was going to make breakfast, and
and then you come in with this news. I can't even imagine.
yeah. So I explained to them what happened and everything, and I'm like getting interrogated by my mom. She's asking me all these questions and everything, and I just explained to her from start to beginning, and she's remembered some of the factors that I can't because I've had to repeat this so many times, and
sure.
And sometimes I may say one little thing in one video, and I may not in a different, and it's hard to remember whenever it's been almost a year.
Yeah, well, it seems pretty consistent from what we've heard. And then just one question, backing up a little bit, on the ride home when you were dropping off Isaac and the rest of the guys, did you guys talk about anything, or were you guys just kind of zombied in shock?
Good question.
Mainly zombie in shock. No one really wanted to talk about it, but Isaac was still tearing up about it, realizing that his best friend's dead, and from the time that I've known Mikey, he has some mental issues and stuff like that, and like PTSD and stuff like that. So he was talking to himself like, Noah's dead. I can't believe this and everything. And I don't think we even listened to music the whole ride home.
So he's saying Mikey has PTSD. Does he explain what he has PTSD from?
No, he doesn't know. He just knows that he was we go back to that message that.
Okay, so I was just gonna say, so then what he just said.
And he sounds a little schizophrenic. Think about it, because he said, and Kaden could just not understand what that means, because that sounds schizophrenic.
Right. So that makes sense to me what he had just said right now, and then going
that
back
message
to
we see.
That message. He was in a freaking mental institution.
Right before this, supposedly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So he could have been on meds, or I would imagine it's not good to be and alcohol only makes conditions like that worse. Whether there's medication, their drinking is not good.
Right. And if there was any other drugs involved, then
that could have been very bad. Right.
Fuck his mind up.
And that could be where the rage comes from, because you snap.
Right. So when before we moved up here and we lived in San
And
Bernardino.
remember, he was flipping out on Noah, thinking Noah had his phone. Keep
Correct.
that. Oh my. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh
he's the one
fucking
that
a.
takes them. So
Yes,
we
and
lived
Noah.
next.
There's no reason why he thought Noah had his phone, and then it just apparently they found his phone under someone else, and it just they just stopped fighting, like
Right.
weird.
We lived next to this dude. His name was John, a big old fucking buff ass white dude. He was a schizophrenic, but he was like one of these smart schizophrenics. He had patented like 5 things for like the military or some bullshit. But there would be people that would go over there and get him high and stuff, and he would get all weird, And so one day we come home, and in San Bernardino, the houses are like really close together, So you almost essentially sometimes share a driveway with your damn neighbor almost. But anyways, there was glass broken in our driveway, and my stepdad went to go knock on the door, and he opens it, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And that's all you hear him saying. This fucking big ass dude is just like, bam, 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 just pretty much, whoops his ass. And then, obviously my mom calls the police, and this dude beats up 4 cops with nunchucks and shit before he finally just, he's like, okay, he gives up. And then, but the reason I say this is because those people that would essentially give him the drugs is when he would be all fucked up, when he's taking his medicine and doing the drugs and the drinking is he can't tell reality and stuff like that. It makes it worse for him. So this kid could actually be experiencing some shit like that, essentially.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm writing this down.
What are the 300 black? What's the significance, Puff Muffin, of the 300 blackout? I'm not understanding that.
Like that's a big boy gun. That's an assault, right? Like that's what they use in the military. That's not just shooting a hunting gun. That's not a toy. It's a big boy gun. It'll.
Is it like bigger than a 306, 308?
And it had thermal scope on it. Like it.
What?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, yeah, that's just from what I recognize with the one dude. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. So after he gets arrested, his sister had came over, and before they took him, I guess, to jail, all she said that all he was worried about was, if myself or my brother were okay, and he's sorry if he scared us. That's all. Like nothing else had really transpired, or like it didn't click in his head.
It had a silencer on it.
Even though he was schizophrenic and stuff, and we really never talked to him. I remember there was a brand new guitar, and a Casio in his backyard. And I asked him if I could have it, and he was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I went and got it, but my mom didn't let me keep it, so down with the white lady.
Damn her to hell.
Yeah,
maybe it was cursed.
Huh?
Maybe it was cursed or something.
It's possible. I mean, they were brand new, so I'm assuming like these tweakers probably took it over there, you know what I mean, and maybe essentially sold it to him. I'm not sure. And he was like, "Well, I don't need this shit," and just threw it in the backyard. And my ass just is nosy. But like he never talked to us, you know what I mean? He wouldn't speak to us or anything like that. He might say like wave or something, but he wasn't the kind of person that would, sit there and have a conversation with you. The only person that I think essentially he would is and not really even conversate, but just acknowledges like my mom and stuff like that.
And I gotta add this: I have not seen it, but it comes from a reliable source. About a week ago, Brylan was flashing like a stack of uh, allegedly, $25,000 on his Snapchat.
Say what?
So,
have you seen the Snappy Chat?
No, but I know someone who did, and I'll tell you, I believe it.
It's 20 like
And
20.
Snap, it was sent to somebody, and it's like if it's not posted on their story or whatever, when someone sends you a Snapchat, you can only see it one time, and if it, and it was a flash, like, and if you don't catch it in that time and let it, the way that it's designed, like you can't get a replay of it to get a screen recording of it. So the person just seen it, and it was like, they were like, it was like they were, flossing, showing off.
Launching it.
Yeah.
So Snappy Chat's the one. If I send you a video,
you can't see it again.
You can only see it
once. Correct.
Okay. But I still have the video on my.
Yeah, if you saved it. If not, it's gone forever. Because you have the option to just send it and not, but there's a button next to it after you take it that says save to camera roll, or or it's gone forever. That's why everybody loves Snapchat. Snapchat's the fucking app of all the sketchy shit, the creeping and the cheating and it, It's the devil.
No, a silencer. Is there a silencer on this fucking thing?
Yes, there is.
That's illegal as fuck.
I don't think so. Not in Oklahoma.
Yeah. I think anywhere in the United States, a silencer is most definitely illegal. I could be wrong.
Maybe that would be why there's motivation to get the gun out of there, but I don't know. I'm gonna plead the fifth moving forward.
I haven't been in the gun laws in a long time, but from what I remember, a muzzle brake, or it's called something, a muzzle brake or flash suppressor. And then maybe this is just in California.
That's Puff and Eddie's area of expertise. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I know they're trying to ban everything.
Right. If you have that and you have a thermal scope, one time a police officer told me because I had night vision, it was illegal. And I'm like, okay, explain that. But
hold on, let's rewind and listen to how he described it again.
Thermal. Yeah.
You say one little thing in one video, and I mean,
it's pretty consistent from what we've heard. And then on just one question, backing up a little bit, on the ride home when you were
really close, and I had Isaac, Mikey,
and in Oklahoma, it is legal for all of these boys.
Brylan, I'm pretty familiar with and they were at the scene for about 30 minutes before they showed up to the house, and we get all the beer cleaned up and everything. And shortly after that, Renee tells me that we need to give her all the guns. And I was saying like, oh, I can take them. I'm heading back that way anyways. And she was like, she was adamant of her taking them. And so they go and get the guns and give them to Renee. They load them up. And right after that, Renee tells me that we need to load all the beer in the house up into one of the coolers, and I need to take it home with me.
Okay. Let me stop. Go ahead.
They said that we should leave before the police get there because it's just going to cause a whole extra scene if there's more people there whenever they get there.
Okay. Let me stop you real quick. So the guns, who did the guns belong to, and what kind of guns were they?
So I'm pretty familiar with most of the guns. One of them was a 300 blackout AR-15 style rifle. It had a suppressor on it, had a thermal and night vision scope on it. And a lot of people aren't familiar with calibers, but 300 blackouts type of round. There was a hunting rifle, like you'd use to kill a deer with, and there was a 12 gauge shotgun. So the 12 gauge shotgun belonged to Isaac, the hunting rifle belonged to Brylan, and the AR-15 belonged to Jack.
And in Oklahoma, it is legal for all of these boys to have guns at their age, correct?
Yes, ma'am. You can the
Handwriting is an essential foundational step on the journey to reading fluency. It's the main way.
the sheriff's office, and
A little bit.
it's rough on me, and that's whenever and like PTSD and stuff like that. So he was talking to himself like Noah's dead. I can't believe this and everything. And I don't think we've been listening to music the whole ride home.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty rough.
All right. So, Kaden, you saw Noah with his shorts on, and you left the scene around 6 o'clock in the morning.
I left from where Noah was at around 5:30.
Okay, 5:30. So at 5:30 a.m., Noah had his shorts on.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
then when you saw the news that came out that Noah was naked and in a fetal position, what did you think about that?
I instantly knew that something was wrong. I knew that someone had to mess with him because I know for a fact I seen him in black shorts, the same black shorts you can see in the videos that I've taken, and it just kind of hurt me whenever I heard that he didn't have those black shorts on, because I knew someone messed with the body at that time, but I didn't know who. So it was rough on me, and that's whenever I came out and I had because at the time the police haven't even reached out to me yet. It's been like close to a month after Noah has died, and I had
Hold on, let me stop you for a minute. I just want to get the timeline because I know this is kind of all this is in your head and it's coming out. I just want for the listeners to kind of get the timeline down a little bit. So how long after Noah's death did you hear the news report where he was found naked and he was in a fetal position?
I think it was about 1 week.
Okay. And that's when your antenna came up and you're like, that's not what happened.
Yeah, that's whenever I start trying to reach out to the police, and I didn't get in a hold of the police until the detective until like a month later, and I had to call like OHP, OSBI, call the Duncan Police Department multiple times until finally I think it was OHP or OSBI gave me Zach's number, which was one of the people that were questioning people on the case, one of the detectives. And so I finally get a hold of him. It was October 9th whenever I had the interview with him, and I go down to the Duncan police station. Well, not the police station, the sheriff's office, and I go in there, sit down for a little bit, and he finally comes in. We talk, and he's like interrogating me and everything, asking me all these questions. And by the time the interview's over, I asked him if he would like to back up my phone, and he said, no, it's okay, as long as if you've already sent me all the pictures and videos from the party. And I said, yes, sir, I did. And he said, all right, you don't have to. I was like, all right, that works. And And then I saw Jack's interview with Banfield, and it just hurt me a little bit because he instantly.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Lord Disick. Nearly every person that comes into my home comments about how amazing.
Said that Noah was hit by a semi, or it like clipped the top of his head. And I just want to say, if you get hit by any type of vehicle going highway speeds, you're not going to remain in one piece or anything like that. Your insides are going to be all mangled, or you're going to be dismembered. And around that time is whenever I made the Facebook post on justice for Noah Pressgrove, and also for the one on Noah's Army. And
what did the post say again? I mean, we've seen it, but just for our listeners.
So I say, hey, y'all may not know me or not, but I am the owner of the red Jeep Cherokee, and also the owner of the other gray Hey Dude found on Noah's body. And then everything else I've told you, I just kind of like break down like what happened, like when Jack came in the house and stuff after that.
We have a screenshot of that post, so
Yeah, we'll
it's
show
very
that.
consistent with what you're telling us today. It's the same
right.
story.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
it is.
and that's what people have to understand, is that your story has been consistent from the beginning.
You don't really have to remember the truth, you know.
Exactly.
Whenever you start making up lies, you have to sit there and think about those lies, and then you'll forget those lies and you'll make it up another lie. And my mother and father always told me the truth is better than a lie, and I grew out of the habit of lying to them, because every single time I'd lie to them, I'd just start cheesing up and smiling, and they'd figure out I was lying to them. So,
All right, hold on one second before we get going. Now, going back to the scene when you arrived there and you saw Noah's body, did you see his shorts at all?
yeah, no, they were on him, and
Okay,
there wasn't any white shorts right beside him.
Okay, that's what I want to be sure. I just want to clarify that because there's a lot of discrepancies about that.
Those shorts were taken off of him, and then another pair of shorts were placed beside him. And the semi lights were literally shining on Noah, so you could see him plain as day.
What makes you believe that there was another pair of shorts were taken off of him and put on him?
Well, I don't think that they had a different pair of shorts put on him.
Okay.
Someone took those shorts off of him because they either had evidence or something like that.
Got it.
And they placed another pair of shorts beside him for God knows why. I don't know who just lays on the side of the road and then takes their shorts off and folds himself. Yeah, folds them on the ground.
I know it's definitely
Right, because the what people are saying is that sorry, let me start over. What people are saying is that there was a white pair of shorts folded up next to Noah, but you didn't see that. That's not what he had. He had black shorts on him.
Yes, ma'am. He had the same black shorts on from the videos I've taken at the party.
Yeah. Well, what's troubling too is that, we know the OHP officer who was at the scene, who arrived at the scene, and I spoke to him yesterday via text, and he told me when he showed up, Noah wasn't wearing any shorts.
Yeah, that's what concerned me. Whenever I was interviewed by him, he told me that he didn't have any shorts on. He told me he was butt naked on the ground and with Hey Dudes on. And I told him straight to his face, man, that's not true. That's not true whatsoever. And he was confused. I said, I swear to God, and I will testify in court against it, that he had black shorts on whenever I arrived there. So someone must have messed with them, sir. And I guess he takes it into consideration, not thinking much about it. And he says okay. And shortly after that, I left.
Okay.
That's suspicious. That's all suspicious.
It's very suspicious. Did you see any golf clubs at the party?
Yes, ma'am. Noah, I didn't find this out until recently, but Noah's brother, Dalen, just recently gave him those golf clubs a couple days prior before the party. They weren't nothing brand new, nothing nice, but they were just some mismatched set of golf clubs that Dalen gave him. And we were out there hitting rocks and random crap into the field and stuff.
So other people were using the golf clubs over the course of the party?
Yes, ma'am. Originally, Noah was just walking around and he brought these golf clubs out of his Bronco, and he said, "Hey, you want to hit some stuff?" And he only had a couple golf balls, and we hit those golf balls, and we just started hitting rocks because we didn't have any other golf balls because they were gone. And Brylan, Isaac, and me and Noah were all just hit stuff with them. And I didn't find out until recently that those golf clubs went missing until Dalen's brother came over to talk to me. Dalen. And he told me that the golf clubs haven't been seen since the party. And that brought up a little light bulb in my head. And I didn't really want to talk about this because
My new book, Keyboard Rich, How Anyone Can Earn Six Figures from Home with a Simple...
Because I want to believe that Jack didn't have anything to do with this. And I hope if he didn't have anything to do with this, that maybe we can become friends again, you know?
Bless his fucking heart. Poor kid. He doesn't want to believe, like, bless his heart.
Well,
He's not trying to be nasty, spiteful, and vindictive like they are,
Right.
but, you know, he's even after the fact.
Right.
Poor kid.
And he still went and helped him out and shit. And they cut him off? Like, they didn't want to talk to him? Or
Then
was that after?
none of them will talk to him now. Yeah.
Right.
This was after, well, that was like after, right after this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's his mom in the background, Bia.
I want to believe that Jack didn't have anything to do with this. And I hope if he didn't have anything to do with this, that maybe we can become friends again, you know? And that popped up a little light bulb in my head because a couple months after the party, me and Jack were still hanging out because I don't know, but we were just still hanging out. And
you didn't believe he did anything.
yeah, I didn't really believe that Jack had anything to do with it at the time until he started making all these comments and interviews and stuff, and nothing just lined up. But back to what I was saying, me, him, and another buddy, he wasn't at the party, so I won't name him. Me, Jack, and another buddy were trying to get some beer money, and we're out at the scrap pile that they have behind their house.
Behind whose house?
Yeah, at his house. And
Jack's house.
Yeah, Jack's house. And I only told this to him, and I guess Dalen told other people and it got out. So I mean, there isn't really any hiding it now, but there was a bunch of mismatched golf clubs in his scrap pile, and because they had a bunch of cool and interesting stuff in there. They had like ATV chassis, refrigerators, a bunch of motors and crap, and I like looking at that stuff, so I was just crawling on top of it, looking through everything. And I started finding these golf clubs, and I said, "Hey, Jack, look at these," and just perfect golf club. Well, not perfect, but there was nothing wrong with it visibly. And he says throw it back in there, and I was like, all right, whatever. I threw it back in there. Excuse me. I probably seen 5 or 6 golf clubs in there. I do remember seeing one specific golf club. It was like a driver. It was either a driver or an iron, which
Is that a D7?
A driver.
Yeah, I'm about to
D7, I
look.
believe so. Actually, I have a golf clubs. I don't know why I have golf clubs, but I do. I can go check.
D7 Wilson driver. No shit.
Yeah.
The Squawk Box said that.
Oh, the Squawk Box said that?
Yeah, remember I
shit.
asked you, I was like, does D7 mean anything in sports? Is that like a football position? And I wrote it down and I was like, maybe it'll mean something later. Well, somebody reached out to me and said that D7 is a golf club, like it's a type of, it's a golf club, something to do with golf clubs.
Yeah, because so they have like the big one, the ones that have the big fat heads. And
Right.
then they have smaller ones and smaller ones, and they're just different sizes and shit, depending on if they want to go 300 yards, 200 yards, 150 yards, some bullshit like that.
Right. So listen to what he describes. I think he's talking about, I guess D7, the way he describes it, the one that's bent.
I got a D7 right here. No.
golf clubs in there. I do remember seeing one specific golf club. It was like a driver. It was either a driver or an iron, which if people play golf, they'll know what I'm talking about. One of them was bent, like couple. They just like started making a curve right where the golf club head was, where you hit the golf ball. The pole started bending as if like it was getting hit by something like hard. And I was like, oh, there wasn't nothing like blood or anything on that I could tell. I mean, I didn't pick it up or look at it and inspect it or nothing like that. I just seen it. And that didn't really pop in my mind until Dalen told me that those golf clubs were missing. And I seen golf clubs at the Newton's plumbing scrap pile.
To say there's gun laws in Oklahoma is loose. I didn't real loose.
Like moist loose.
Like there ain't none.
Yeah, hotspot just coming in here talking to Fumbler, snitch and shit. Damn. This
Permit
is
to
the
purchase?
National Rifle
No.
Association?
Yeah. Permit to purchase? No. Rifles and shotguns, handguns? No. Registration of firearms? No. Handguns? No. Licensing of owners? No. Handguns? No. Permit to carry? No. Handguns? No.
Oh my God. I'm living in the wrong fucking state.
Oklahoma's permitless carry laws. Allows anyone aged at least 21 years old who is not otherwise disqualified from possessing a firearm under state and federal law and who is not carrying the gun in furtherance of a crime to carry without a permit. The minimum age to carry drops to 18 years old or older if the person is a member or veteran of the United States Armed Forces, Reserves, or National Guard, or was discharged under honorable conditions from the United States Armed Forces, Reserves, or National Guard. The list and map below are included as a tool to assist you in validating your information. We have made every effort to report the information correctly. However, reciprocity whatever that is, and recognition agreements are subject to frequent change. The information is not intended as legal advice or a restatement of law and does not include restrictions that may be placed on non-resident permits, individuals under the age of 21, qualifying permit classes, and or other factors which may limit and or recognition. For any particular citation, a licensed local attorney must be consulted for an accurate interpretation. You must obey with all laws, state, federal, and local. Something notes. Wisconsin recognizes Oklahoma licenses issued or renewed on or after 2018, October of 2018 only. Colorado, Florida, Maine, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina recognize only Oklahoma resident permits.
It's
State status.
reciprocity.
Yeah, that, whatever. Castle Doctrine enacted. No net loss, no legislation. Right to carry confidentiality. Provisions enacted.
Law.
Right to carry in restaurants, partial ban. Right to carry laws, no permit required. Right to carry, all outright recognition. Right to keep and bear arms, state constitutional provisions with provision. So this is based on Oklahoma.
California, even on that motherfucker.
Laws on purchase, possession, and carrying a firearm. Antiques and replicas. Based on 21 Oklahoma statute, blah, blah, blah. A firearm does not include an antique firearm as defined in federal law. The definition does not clearly apply to any of the offenses listed at Oklahoma, blah, blah, blah. Possession. No state permit is required to possess a rifle, shotgun, or handgun. It is unlawful for any person convicted of a felony or a crime in any court to possess or have under his or her immediate control or in any vehicle or a residence where the convicted person resides. Any pistol, imitation or homemade pistol, altered air or toy pistol, machine gun, sawed-off shotgun, or rifle, or any other dangerous or deadly firearm. This does not apply to anyone convicted of a nonviolent felony who has since received a full and complete pardon and who has not been convicted of any other felony offense. It is unlawful for any person serving a term of probation for any felony. Any person adjudicated as a delinquent child or youthful offender. Any alien illegally or unlawfully in the United States is prohibited from possessing, having an immediate control of, or having at their residence, blah, blah, blah. Any, as used in the above prohibitions, a sawed-off shotgun or rifle means any shotgun or rifle which has been shortened at any length, or altered toy pistol means any toy weapon which has been altered from its original manufactured state to resemble a real weapon. An altered air pistol means any air pistol manufactured to propel projectiles by air pressure which has been altered from its original manufacture. It is unlawful for any person under 18 years of age to possess any firearm, except firearms used for participating in hunting, hunter safety classes, education, and training in the safe use and handling of firearms, target shooting, skeet, trap, or other sporting events or competitions. So drunk with your buddies for a weekend on a fun is not under the law. Just saying.
Now, I wonder if this specifies if a disassembled weapon is actually considered a firearm.
Let's see. It is unlawful to sell or give to a person under the age of 18 any firearm except that minor's parents or legal guardian, or a person acting with the permission of the parent or legal guardian may give the minor a firearm for participating in hunting, hunter safety class, education, and training in the safe use and handling of firearms, target shooting, skeet, trap, or other sporting events or competitions. This exception for a parent or a guardian does not apply if the parent is aware of a substantial risk that the minor will use the gun to commit a criminal offense, or if the minor has either been adjudicated a delinquent or has been convicted as an adult for any crime that contained as an element the threat to use of physical force against another. Any firearm carried or possessed by a minor under 18 years old who is detained or arrested by law enforcement is subject to confiscation and forfeiture, regardless of whether criminal charges are filed against the minor or not. That is why they got them the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
They would have confiscated them.
Right.
It is unlawful, based on Oklahoma Statute 1280-.1, no to possess a firearm on any public or private school property or any school bus or any other vehicle used by school for transportation of students or teachers. This does not apply to a person with a valid carry license, a gun possessed by law enforcement, blah, 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 blah. A gun designed for hunting purposes kept in a privately owned vehicle, displayed or stored as required by law, where the vehicle is driven onto school property, blah, blah, blah. Don't take it to school. That's bad. Okay. Don't take it to college, because I guess that didn't go under school. Like, they're not the same. Anyway, it is unlawful. Okay, here we go. It is unlawful to possess firearms in any business where low point beer or alcoholic beverages are consumed, unless the person is a peace officer or private investigator with a firearms authorization acting in the scope and course of employment. The owner or proprietor of an establishment having a pistol, rifle, or shotgun on the premises, or 3, anyone with a valid Oklahoma carry license carrying a handgun, concealed or unconcealed, into a restaurant or other establishment licensed to dispense low point beer or alcoholic beverages, where the sale of low point beer or alcoholic beverages does not constitute the primary purpose of the business. State law makes it a felony to bring into or possess without proper authorization a gun at any jail or state penal institution. A person who is not otherwise prohibited by law from possessing a firearm may transport a handgun loaded or unloaded in a motor vehicle at any time. Any driver or passenger in a motor vehicle containing another person who has a valid Oklahoma carry license or otherwise permitted by law to carry a handgun, concealed or unconcealed, and is carrying a handgun or has a handgun in such a vehicle is deemed not in violation of this law, provided the license or person permitted by law is in or near the vehicle. Any person who is not otherwise prohibited by law from possessing a firearm may transport in a motor vehicle a rifle or shotgun, open or concealed, although a rifle, shotgun, or shotgun transported in a land-borne motor vehicle over a public highway or roadway may be unloaded, clip or magazine loaded, not chamber loaded, and kept in an exterior locked compartment of the vehicle or trunk in the interior compartment of the vehicle. However, any driver or passenger in the vehicle transporting a person with a valid Oklahoma carry license and has a rifle or shotgun is deemed not to have violated the law against transporting a loaded long gun, provided the license holder is in or near the vehicle. It is unlawful for any person transporting a gun in a motor vehicle to fail or reuse to identify that the person is in actual possession of a gun when asked to do so by law enforcement. It is unlawful to transport a shotgun, rifle, or handgun in a boat, or other water transportation device than a seaplane. What the fuck is a seaplane? Anyways, unless the person is hunting and in compliance with existing state and federal laws. This does not apply to any person in possession of a valid Oklahoma carry license. For another person in the state carrying a handgun, concealed or unconcealed, upon it about its person in compliance with the state law. And then it gives the definition of a vesting. It is a crime to carry or use a firearm while under the influence of alcohol, any hallucinogenic, any unlawful or unprescribed drug, or while under the influence of any drug prescribed by a licensed physician, if the after effects of such consumption affect mental, emotional, or physical process to a degree that would result in abnormal behavior. Mic drop.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that, Jackie Poo?
Stevie.
Caleb.
Renee.
Jasmine.
Carter.
Avery.
Logan.
Isaac.
Who else is there? Brylan.
Mikey.
I think that's it.
Shady.
She wasn't there though. Or she wasn't there the last day though, right?
Oh, there was guns there that whole week, and they all were being reckless. Right. Well, Texas boys.
Texas boys.
Bub.
Bub. Feebles is ruined. Fuck you, Feebles.
I mean, I don't even know if we needed to go any further from there. I mean, let's see. State law preserves the right of a person, property owner, tenant, employer, or place of worship or business to control the possession of weapons on any property owned or controlled by the person or business entity, except that they may not establish any policy or rule that has the effect of prohibiting anyone other than a convicted felon from transporting and storing firearms in a locked vehicle or any property set aside for any vehicle. So you can't override the law, pretty much. If the property owner prohibits the carrying of a firearm to the premises and the building or property is open to the public, premises must be posted with signs indicating that firearms are not allowed on the premises. For the places where it is unlawful to carry a concealed or unconcealed handgun, see the section on carrying. No state permit is required for the purchase of a rifle, shotgun, or handgun. Oklahoma's permitless carry law is a specific exception to the unlawful carrying of a firearm crime. Under the law, it is unlawful for any person to carry on their person or in purse or other container any firearm, whether loaded or unloaded, concealed or unconcealed, but the law exempts the carrying of firearm by someone who is at least 21 years old or at least 18 years old for anyone who is a member of a veteran or of the U.S. Armed Forces, Reserves, or National Guard, has been discharged, blah, blah. If the person is otherwise not legally disqualified from the possession of purchase of a firearm. So, they weren't 21 either.
Mm-mm.
Machine gun magazines and ammunition. Oklahoma has no specific prohibitions on machine gun apart from the law prohibiting a convicted felon or anyone adjudicated as a delinquent child or youthful offender for committing offense by possessing a machine gun.
Yeah, I definitely live in the wrong state.
Preemption. The state firearm preemption law directs that the state legislature occupies and preempts the entire field of legislation, touching in any way firearms, knives, components, ammunition, and supplies to the complete exclusion of any order, ordinance, or regulation by any municipality or other political subdivision, and except as otherwise permitted by state law, any existing or further orders, ordinances, or regulations are null and void. Restoration of rights. Oklahoma has a process to allow restoration of firearm rights for persons under a mental health-based firearm disability. Gun rights lost due to nonviolent felony convictions may be restored by pardon.
Who cares about Oklahoma shit? What about California? What the fuck?
A local... Wait, okay. Wait. Provided the noise at the property line of the range does not exceed 150 decibels. That's really why it's going to silence. I'm just saying.
Roddy brings up a good point. She's talking about golf clubs that they're designed to hit like the ground, and like if you ever watched a golf a game or whatever they call it, tournament,
I haven't.
sometimes when they be hitting the ground and stuff, it skins like the turf almost as if they were being scalped.
Oh, fucking A, no way. No shit, are you serious?
100%.
Okay, so that brings me back to this lady. Ain't been that long ago. There she is.
Step into Wick.
First in, I don't know if anybody has, if you have a visualization of what that looks like, the size of it. But when, Rob, you told me there was really no blood at the scene, or very little blood reported at the scene.
That's what we've been told. We don't know. Like, obviously, we haven't seen any of that. There's I'm sure there's crime scene photographs and stuff that we're not liberty. We don't have, but We
Right.
don't know. We were told that there wasn't a lot of blood, and they said if it was a car accident, if a car hit him, they said there would have been a lot more blood.
A lot. Can I show you? I did a diagram of that one injury.
Sure.
To scale. Now, I am not an artist or ever played one, but it was described very vividly as a 4-inch by 2-inch laceration, having a fish-like appearance, which is key to that. Now, to me, this is going to be an ugly fish, but let me just show you. That's the actual size of that one injury on his head.
Wow.
That's huge.
So and avulsion means not just a laceration. Avulsion means everything in its path has been taken off down to the skull. It's gone.
Wow.
So tell me this wouldn't be all over the place. I mean, there would, just from this one injury, and then when you add all that other up, it's incredible to me.
When is the second part gonna be out?
Of Kaden? You talking about of Kaden?
Yeah.
Next week.
Has a lot of blood vessels in it. I don't know if anybody has, if you have a visualization of what that looks like, the size of it. But when, Rob, you told me there was really no blood at the scene, or very little blood reported at the scene.
That's what we've been told. We don't know. Like, obviously, we haven't seen any of that. I'm sure there's crime scene photographs and stuff that we're not liberty. We don't have, but we don't know. We were told that there wasn't a lot of blood, and they said if it was a car accident, if a car hit him, they said there would have been a lot more blood.
A lot. Can I show you? I did a diagram of that one injury.
Sure.
To scale. Now, I am not an artist or ever played one, but it was described very vividly as a 4-inch by 2-inch laceration.
She's talking about Doug?
Having a fish-like appearance, which is key to that. Now, to me, this is going to be an ugly fish, but let me just show you. That's the actual size of that one injury on his head.
Wow.
That's huge.
So and avulsion means not just a laceration. Avulsion means everything in its path has been taken off down to the skull. It's gone.
Wow.
So
Katie,
tell
Jeff
me
says-
this wouldn't be all over the place. I mean, there would,
He
just
sent
from
you a
this
picture?
one.
He sent you a picture of a driver. If you want to show that driver, I'm assuming he's talking about a golf club. Or I could go out to the shack. I think, yeah, you'd be able to see it from the phone. I think and they come in like different shapes and sizes, different, I would say like weights or whatever. If you come up with it more, I think you see the front part where you hit the ball with. Like a carbon fiber shaft. What's rage with? All right, I'm taking over. So, who has cookies? I'm hungry. Somebody said they had cookies. Oh, you're saying the lady that drew that fish was from Illinois Highway Patrol? That's cool. Oh, the description of the driver has the dimensions of the driver on that page down below. Right. Right. Carbon fibers are very light, but they hit pretty hard. They can withstand. And they bend too, you know, when you get that swing coming down, it gives it that bend. Think we should do a live comparison, like I should go out there and hit the dirt. Is that what you're talking about? How's the water pipes? Well, they're out here today. I think the gas company came out and marked where the gas pipes are. So they were out here today messing with it. I think they're gonna fix it tomorrow, like the whole chingadera. I wonder if I go buy if I went and got a watermelon and then hit it with a golf club, if it would show some kind of resemblance of an injury. Yeah, Roddy, I'm pretty sure there's videos on the tuber that would have that, I would imagine. But I know exactly what you're talking about because I've seen that happen in golf tournaments before, where they hit it and it looks like it peels off a big old piece of the grass and shit. Right. And you know, you kept hearing them say there's no trails of blood on the highway and stuff, and that's very possible, or it's possible that if there was, maybe it was cleaned up to a certain extent by the time anybody else got out there, or he just wasn't hit right there; he was just dropped off right there. But I think we can go with the theory that, I mean, there's probably a couple things that could have happened. Let's just say, for whatever reason, Jack and Noah get into a little scuffle, you know. Jack wants to be with Noah, and just Noah's not that way. And they start wrestling, and Noah's getting the best of Jack. And like, say, what if like Carter is right there, and she's like, "Oh my God, stop it!" And she accidentally gets hit either by Carter or by Noah, but maybe they think it's Noah, and then they think like, "Oh, you know what? He hit Carter. Let's be heroes." Some shit like that. I don't know. Right, Buff? Shit, I'd be like, man, I just killed this watermelon. I'd rather eat that shit. A catfish, we talking about? You talking about blood? That's what I'm thinking. I mean, it could have been just as quick as the thought of that. You know what I mean? Maybe homegirl does it. I don't know. Somebody does it at least. You know what I mean? And this is just a theory. It's not. I don't know what the fuck really happened, but and then it just becomes a frenzy. You know what I'm saying? Like a free for all because and so I've mentioned this. I think me and Katie have mentioned this before. Like when we see pictures with Noah and these broads, where are the other dudes? You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be in the pictures with these hoes. I mean, what the fuck? So I'm thinking maybe there's some animosity towards Noah for some strange reason. Maybe they're following Jack's bullshit. I just think it's odd though that in this situation, Noah wouldn't even be at this fucking party if it wasn't for Isaac. You know what I mean? And his aunt and uncle, whatever, not wanting to take on the responsibility of not knowing his parents and if they're gonna trip if he does drink, if there was any drinking there at all. That's right. Can't make a whole housewife, and I don't think they're trying to become housewives either. Shit, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, who knows? Um, it doesn't make sense when they say they took him in the shower and then all of a sudden this motherfucker just walks off, and half the story is he's not. He was super drunk and his mind's not like there, whatever the fuck, and somebody had to help him stand up. Um, then the other one is like, oh no, he was fine. Like, which one is it? Or it's aliens. So, hello, Kitty. You think that Jack was gay? I'm thinking like Noah probably smashed Carter, and Jack found out, and maybe there was an argument, and that's why he don't want to go back to the party, whatever. Um, I don't know. Then there's this argument supposed to be about Jack always liking the girls that Noah's liking, and it's like, well, that would only happen if like he's jealous and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Fumble. I don't know where he went. Hotspot. I'm sorry. Yeah, there was definitely something. Definitely something. And they all got to know, you know what I mean? Like, so I would think that they would all understand that, okay, you know what? Jack and Noah have already gotten to two, you know, semi-quasi fights, if you want to call them arguments, lovers' quarrels, whatever. And that there's that animosity there. You know what I'm saying? So why would Jack want Noah to even be at the party? For one, it eliminates him trying to get at his girl. There you go. Hot spot. There's a snitch right there. You know what I mean? So if Noah's not there, then Jack ain't got to worry about him smashing his girl, right? So what's the point of wanting him to come back so much, you know? And then, like Kaylee said, like you ain't. If the person isn't a reasonable person, they're not gonna, especially when they're drunk. There's no point in talking to somebody when they're drunk. They're drunk. You know what I mean? Like talk to me when you're sober. That's how I would have took the shit. You know. I mean, Teresa, it's very possible. I mean, that's a very possible thing. But I don't know if if their intentions was actually to, unalive him, like maybe whoop his ass, possibly. But unalive him, I'm not sure. I think that shit just went too far. But who knows? I mean, these motherfuckers, if they were any kind of friends at all, they would understand, like, oh, okay, you know what? This was something that was not supposed to go this far, and we fucked up. And we're going to say that and admit to it. And this way, we're not going to spend at least the rest of our fucking lives in hell, at least. Fuck, let alone jail or prison. Yeah, there's definitely a reason Jack asked for him to come back on Sunday, and I'm thinking it was probably something like he wanted to get his digs in, as fucking Pian would say, some shit like that. Like maybe they were thinking about jumping them and beating them up. I'm not sure. The Rocklahoma, are you talking about the concert? The concert was planned for weeks, and the party was just a spur of the moment thing. So what you're saying? Jody Huffman on Wikipedia. Who is Jody? She explains the fishtail effect. Does she also explain the butterfly effect? I'm just messing with you. Okay, I've never heard that before, but to each their own. I guess the only person that would know that, Puff, is the brother that gave, gave Noah the golf clubs. Scalping, hotspot, that gives you that word makes you cringe. Why? Teresa, that's what I'm thinking too. That's why they lease that property out. You know what I mean, to the Army of Engineers or whatever. You know what I mean. So this way nobody can go back on that property and dig up some bullshit. Remember, there's that one kid that had something to do with one of the family members that's in prison. I think on Stevie's side, maybe the Howard side, for child, stuff. He's in prison. That kid has never been found yet, I don't believe. I might just have to take a ride out to Oklahoma and see what Oklahoma's really like. I've never been to Oklahoma. It's close to Texas. Fuck that. A bunch of snakes and shit. Well, I don't know if she's coming back, everybody. I know she was tired. She was doing a lot of stuff to bring us this information today, and we appreciate that. Well, Roddy, I don't know. I could call Tiger Woods and ask him about that. But yeah, I would assume if you're playing like a game, like if you're gonna make that like a hobby or profession or something like that, yeah, you know what I mean. But as far as like in the heat of the moment, I don't think that shit's gonna fucking matter. You're just gonna grab that bitch and you're gonna fucking swing that shit as hard as you can on somebody. But the police are corrupt. Shoot, I don't know a state that the police aren't corrupt, at least in some position or another. I do believe there are good policemen out there, policemen and women. I'm sorry, policemen and women. Whose ex-wife? Oh, you talking about Tiger Woods? Yeah, she did. Look into Holt's Claw. How about you just give me a brief synopsis of Holt's Claw? Right, hotspot. That's what I was thinking too. Roddy, yeah, like used as a bat, yeah. I don't know if anybody in here has ever been hit in the head with a bat. I have, and that shit fucking hurts. Like, I thought I was gonna die. Oh, no shit. Damn. I will have to look that up. It's fucked up. Like, I remember when I got hit in the head with the bat, I had this huge, like, I mean, it wasn't even a welt, just, I don't know, what would you call it? Not even a bump. Looked like I was growing like a fuck another head on top of my head. And then it was bruised up and nasty. It's fucked up. I don't think so. I don't know if she hasn't texted or anything like that. So, I think she showed what she wanted to show. She probably needed to, right? Let me try and text her. I texted her. We'll see. We'll give it a second or two. Who's all in here? Would you guys like to hear a story? How about you guys tell me a story? Right, Puff? Hey, man, this shit was fucked up, dude. We just went to go play, you know what I mean? What is this shit called? Like home run derby or some shit like that, right? A couple of my friends and some other dudes that we knew and stuff. And this dude, the dude, I don't even know, like, he wasn't mad at me. I know he wasn't mad at me, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he was walking away, and I was up to bat, and like the homies could have let me know, like, hey, motherfucker, that dude's coming after you and shit. And homeboy just straight fucking smacked me in the side of the head with a fucking bat, man. But luckily, he just hit me the once, and you know, I went down to like, fell off down to my knee and shit. Like, everything went black. Just, I couldn't see. I think I had my eyes open. Everything went fucking black, and it was painful as shit. Just throwing boom, 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 and like, it was almost instantaneously. You could feel like that something, you know, quaddle was growing out of my fucking head, like Total Recall and shit. But and I really couldn't hear anything for a little bit, you know. Like, you know, I could hear like a ringing in my ears and shit. But I start to get up, and he was trying to go after, I think, the original person he's trying to go after. And I think when he sees me get up, I start to get like my vision back. It's a little blurry and shit. And the motherfucker starts to come after me again. I'm like, oh, hell to no. That shit ain't happening. There's one man from Nantucket. Why have I heard that? Is that a joke? I think I've heard that before. There once was a man from Nantucket. I just told you it. Dude fucking hit me in the head with the bat. I don't want to tell you the rest because the rest is kind of fucked up. Fast Eddie, this is why I carry a Shanky Shank all the fucking time. And then, you got to learn, know what you're doing when you're fighting with somebody with a bat. Here's a binky. That's fucking funny. That's the thing. He wasn't an enemy. Well, he wasn't really like a homie, but he was an acquaintance. Like I said, I didn't do nothing to piss him off. You know what I mean? Somebody else must have had done something, but at least the homies could have said, "Hey, motherfucker, look out!" But nope. But if he really wanted to hurt me, you know what I mean, he would have kept hitting me with the bat. You know what I mean? But he just hit me, got me out of the way, and then was going after the other dude. And I just so happened to get up when he was coming back the same way, and thought like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit him again." And I was like, "No, you're not. Fuck you." And I left him there. Well, we all left him there actually. Watched a movie called Red Riding last night. Gave nightmares. Well, that sucks. Well, everybody, I think I'm make it gone. She ain't back yet, so I haven't received a text or anything. Not that I was expecting one, but I thought that was, you know what I mean, it was pretty good information that that she brought us today. You'd be afraid they take the bat from you? Get a dog? Huh? Why would you get a dog? It's the same thing that happened to the dude that hit me in the head with the bat. It's the same thing I would do with the dog. Yep. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Kelly, for bringing us this information and her insight to the goings on in the Oklahoma. Y'all have a good night. And what is today? Today's Wednesday, right? I think. I don't know. Sometimes I think that hitting the head with the bat fucked me up. But thank you, Kaden, for being a good young man and doing the right thing. Hopefully it turns out for the best. Sucks seeing these situations with these young men, young kids, get fucked up or one of them passes away and for whatever law enforcement, whatever fuck, don't want to do jobs and shit like that. It's just kind of fucked up, but hopefully something happens in this case. And maybe that'll be a spark of change in people's around this country and whatnot. But that being said, y'all have a good night. Be safe. Take care. And we'll see you next time. Peace.